I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the Doug Pederson era in Philadelphia, which included the Eagles' first and only Super Bowl championship, is over. The Eagles fired Pederson today. Multiple meetings with owner Jeffrey Lurie over the last week left him unconvinced that Pederson had a sound vision how to address the team's problems. The controversial quarterback change from Jalen Hurts to Nate Sudfeld in the regular season finale, likely the final nail in the coffin for Pederson, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
When it looks like you're not competing at the end of the season, when it seems that you've given up on your team, you've given up on keeping the main thing, which is winning football games, then you shouldn't be coaching football. You shouldn't be a head coach. You shouldn't be a leader of men.
Ryan Clark on the Max Kellerman Show. Alabama receiver Jalen Waddle, game-time decision against Ohio State in tonight's national championship game, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern ESPN TV, and ESPN platforms. NBA, tonight's Pelicans-Mavs game and tomorrow's Celtics-Bulls game postponed due to coronavirus protocols. Wizards guard Russell Westbrook expected to miss at least a week because of a left quads injury.
Look, we all accidentally damage our phones. It happens. Now, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, data, and more. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
How did you do in your playoff picks? Bet you didn't have Cleveland jumping out to a 28-0 lead. Congratulations, Browns fans, and Bills fans, and Bucks fans for that matter. We got to bond together, Jags people, right, with those kind of fan bases. It's been a long road for them, too. In 2017, it was like that around here. It's been a long road ever since, and, well, maybe happier times to come for the bottom feeders of the league. Over the next decade, perhaps, we will find out. Happier times not for Doug Pederson. He's out. Super Bowl championship, well, doesn't carry that much equity, apparently. It only lasts for a few years. He's out in Philly. Would the Jags be interested? What's the latest on Urban Meyer? Why isn't anybody hiring any coaches? When is that going to happen? And the national championship game, of course, tonight as well. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Brett Martineau here. Staying at home for one more day. Back in studio tomorrow. It will be. And Action Sports Jack studios are filled with Austin Lane and Justin Couzart. We call him Couz. What's happening, fellas?
Nothing too much, man. Just trying to figure out a way how I can get on that Nickelodeon NFL stream, man. I'm trying to put my application into that.
Did
that
you
was
like
awesome.
It?
That was
you
awesome. Oh, that was fun.
Okay, I didn't even watch it. I just saw some of the stuff on
thought
Twitter.
It was, I mean, listen, it's not made for adults per se. I mean, it's made for kids, and they did a great job explaining the rules. And I'll be honest, man, I don't know who any of those kids were that were doing the sideline reporting. I mean, obviously Nate Burleson was there. He does a great job.
They're on the new aged all that they do.
Hey, you know.
Yeah.
Not for me, right? But the fact that one kid was doing a Barack Obama impression calling the game, one girl was doing a Cardi B impression calling the game, I just thought, like, man, I better set my game up a little bit because these young upstarts are coming like you wouldn't believe.
I didn't see. So do you think there'll be more of this?
Oh, absolutely. There's
overall
there's way
it's a
too
big
much
hit.
hype. Absolutely. Cool. Would you agree?
I agree. We were watching it. I turned to Nicole at one point. And I was like, they're talking to me like I'm stupid. And she's like, it's because they're explaining it for kids.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 5-year-old who really appreciated it, so I was all for it.
So he liked it?
Oh, he loved it.
They didn't like the young Sheldon, though, because he's not technically from Nickelodeon. So I think there was some upset thoughts about that.
From who?
From people tweeting at the Twitter, the internet.
From angry Twitter, that's who it was from. I mean, again, I don't know if this was as designed for angry Twitter as it was for kids. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep in mind the target audience. But, hey, you know, genius move by the NFL to at least try it, right? Why not? And you see it's funny, like tonight, national championship game, ESPN will roll out like however many channels they have. They'll roll out that many different broadcasts. There'll be a broadcast done with the game almost like you're in the stadium and you can just hear the PA guy. There'll be the normal game with Herb Street and Fowler. There will be like a game cast, if you will, with coaches and former players. I mean, they try all this stuff. And so credit to the NFL during the playoff game. They obviously try the Nickelodeon thing and get that younger audience involved. And it did look pretty cool, and it got a buzz going. And also they tried the 4K camera. all weekend or most of the weekend.
Yeah.
On the kind of those isolation shots, like after a player would score or so on. So and that looked pretty cool. They got a little work to do on that from a TV standpoint. It looked like there was a lot of out of focus shots, but I don't know if that was just because I wasn't watching it in 4K or if that's just kind of the way that works right now until they figure it out.
No, like essentially it looked like they put their cameras in portrait mode, and like, you know, the one thing that was in front of them was focused on, then everything else behind them was unfocused. So yeah, that was an interesting type of view, like especially in the end zone, the celebration, like that was cool. I remember watching the Rams game, the sidelines with that, whatever you call it now, like the updated 4K or 8K, whatever it is, 25K. That looked cool. But I wonder how that's going to come across when you start incorporating fans into it, right? Because when you get those shots of the end zone or shots in the sidelines, you try to include the fans sometimes to sell the atmosphere. And I feel like if those fans are blurred out a little bit, then you kind of lose something big of that game. So it's cool right now with, you know, very limited amount of fans being at the game, but I wonder how it's going to come across when you have a full stadium again.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have not read up on the whole usage of that camera and what all that was about, but I'll be interested to see it. I'll have to go look it up and see kind of what the big picture is. For all of that with the NFL. But anyway, wild NFL playoff week, I think we had some pretty good games. You know, obviously Chicago Saints game was a little bit boring. I thought the Rams-Seattle game I didn't think was very entertaining, but it was still kind of like, wow, this is really happening, right? The Saints, Seattle just couldn't do anything. But I think a lot of the games lived up to the billing. Who are you most ticked off at right now if you're the fan base of? Like, what's the most frustrated fan base coming out of the weekend?
Oof, that's a good call.
I'll give you a second to think about it. I still believe it's the Colts. The Colts, if you go back, like if I'm in Indianapolis today or yesterday, I'm going to highlight about 12 plays in that game that are just normal plays that you make, that you screwed up that changed the game. Like, I thought, not every play changed the game, but some of them were big. Like the jumping off sides on 4th and 3 right before the half instead of 10-10, 14-10. You know, whether you didn't take the points, although I still kind of had an idea what they were doing. All the dropped passes. I mean, I thought the Colts absolutely dominated the Bills for, I would say, 85% of that game.
Yeah.
And they didn't win. I mean, it was, and by the way, it wasn't because Phillip Rivers turned the ball over. I thought Phillip Rivers played a heck of a football game, man. So, I guess the fans in Seattle, I know the fans in Pittsburgh, but the Colts still almost won that game, and they kind of gave it away in my estimation.
Yeah, I think if you're a Steelers fan, you're upset, but you watched how Big Ben played the first 2 quarters, and it's like, well, what did you expect? I mean, like he just did not look good. Now, he had a career day at the end, but I think he threw 4 interceptions. So it was like a career day / one of the worst games of his entire life. So I think if you're a Steelers fan, you're a little upset. But to me, like the Seahawks, I think if I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm super disappointed. Obviously, Jared Goff was on the sidelines. Johnny comes in, gets hurt. Goff comes in with like what seems like a half of a hand and gets the job done still. And the Seahawks, it's been culminating, it feels like the past, probably 8 or 9 weeks when they started abandoning their pass game and go more of their traditional Seahawks style of running the football. And you saw them try to do that against the Rams, and it did not work. Like, listen, I understand that you're trying to help your defense out and play complementary football. But when you got DK Metcalf, when you got Tyler Lockett, and you had Russell Wilson at the time, who was in the MVP running, turn him loose. Like, I understand that's not necessarily your brand of football, what you're accustomed to in Seattle, but you got to go with what got you there in the first place. And, like, the time the Seahawks were the most potent on offense was when they just, they took the safety off and they pulled the trigger and they aired the ball out. And you saw a team, against the Rams that try to run the ball a little more, that try to play complementary football, and the Rams had their number.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, too. I thought they played super conservative. You just got to let it fly a little bit. I mean, you play right into the hands, essentially, of the Rams because you're so afraid of what they do. Well, do what you do. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I agree with you in that respect with Seattle. Disappointing. I thought Russell Wilson did not play well at all, like he was about to. And in a game like quarterbacks were like, okay, John Wolford hasn't played a lot. I mean, love the guy, but hasn't really played a lot. Then gets hurt. Jared Goff, who's not going to do much. He just had thumb surgery. And instead of elevating and Russell Wilson being the best quarterback in the game, he just kind of blended right in with those other 2 guys. Like there was no standout QB in that game, which, again, credit to the Rams defense. They are built to win. Rex Ryan brought this up. I want to ask you this a little bit later in the show. So think about this one, everybody, and then you can participate. But Rex Ryan, I saw him pregame yesterday, I think it was, and I was like, oh, that's a good radio topic. So I'm going to stick with it even after the weekend. But he said the Rams, he thought, were the most dominant unit in the postseason. And so I want you to marinate on that a little bit. And what do you think?
Are we talking like the defensive unit or defensive line?
No, I'm talking about, well, yeah, their defense. Their defense is more dominant than Kansas City's offense or Tampa's offense or somebody else's defense, Chicago or the Saints or whatever.
Okay.
So the most dominant unit, offense, defense, and of course nobody's going to say special teams here, in the postseason, is it the Rams defense? Even more so than the Bills offense, Kansas City offense. I think the Rams do have the best defense, but what I'm asking here is, would you, if you had to list them, would you take the Rams or would you take the Chiefs or would you take the Bills the way they're playing right now, or would you take the Bucs the way they're playing, although it wasn't that impressive, but that style. So anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Obviously, the hot story coming out of the weekend, though, continues to be a wait and see. It's all quiet. This is the proverbial calm before the storm, isn't it? I mean, quiet on Saturday and Sunday, essentially, on the Jags coaching front. Arthur Smith last night was the latest report. Saleh on Saturday. And I think the biggest news of the weekend, Austin, is we have yet to hear Urban Meyer say, I'm staying at Fox in the studios and I don't want to do it. That's the biggest news of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the biggest news of the weekend. Now, Doug Pederson, we'll talk about that in a second, that kind of trumped everything, it seems like, which happened a couple hours ago. But as far as Urban Meyer, yeah, whether it's gamesmanship, whether it's him trying to be respectful of Ohio State playing tonight, maybe they announce it after. I was a little surprised to hear like Urban Meyer didn't say anything quite yet, whether he's going to coach or not, just because – listen, I understand that you're in the power position right now. And then I understand maybe you're trying to help out your alma mater that you coached at here. You want to show respect to them. But at the end of the day, like, to me, Urban Meyer is the main domino right now. Once he falls into place, whether it's going to Jacksonville or declining, once he falls into place, then all of a sudden the other coaches are going to start trickling down and getting their jobs. So literally the entire football world, it seems like right now, is waiting on a college football championship game to be completed, and then for a broadcaster from that network at Fox to say whether or not he's going to coach it going forward.
I think, listen, all those things are in play. I think it's a little less about Ohio State. If you're really asking me, I know people are saying, well, he might poach some members of the staff, and on respect to that, he might. Maybe that's part of it. I mean, that certainly could. I think I think this is a little bit – this is not surprising that the process is slowed. I think that's intentional. Maybe on his part, I think it's intentional on the Jags' part to make sure you get through all of this and see what else happens and everything else. So I think –
Why do you say it's intentional?
Because I think it was going too fast early on. Like, I think this is now along the pace of where it should be. I think from the Jags' point of view, there's no reason not to vet everything out. There's no reason not to be concerned that, hey, even if you feel good about Urban Meyer, what if in the 11th hour he changes his mind? We have to do our due diligence. We have to get through Saleh. We have to get through Arthur Smith. So getting through the weekend was very important, I think, for the Jags, so on that side. And I think for Urban's side, yeah, he is doing some coverage, but he's not doing a lot with Fox. I think the Ohio State stuff is interesting. I think this is still mulling everything they had a conversation about and seeing who he could potentially reach out to and maybe the staff and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's about getting ducks in a row and where this thing goes. But if I'm the Jags side, I'm still very cautious that Urban says no. But I think it's a huge development that he hasn't said no yet. On Thursday, I was a big believer, even Friday morning, I was a big believer that although this was fun and exciting and I see where everything's going, I still believed that Urban Meyer was going to say, hey, thanks for the courtship. Man, I really tried. I want to do it. It's tough to turn it down, but I just think it's the best move not to go back to the sideline. And then when he meets with Shad on Friday, and he's taken it this far and still nothing Saturday, and so yesterday I kind of changed my mind. Like, we are still not hearing anything to say that Urban Meyer's going to say no. I don't know if he would take it this far without, like, really, really wanting to get back in and do this thing. That doesn't mean he couldn't say, hey, last minute, I'm just not 100% comfortable because you better be all in, right? We've said that before. So I think I've changed my mind on it, Austin, I guess, is my point over the weekend where I think this is headed. And so if you asked me Thursday or Friday morning, all right, Brent, you got to bet $1,000 on Urban being the coach or not, I would have said no. I would think that he would. I know they're interested. I hear you, but I think he would have said no. You asking me today, I'm going to say yeah. I think he is going to be the next coach of the Jaguars.
Do you think that the news not being released yet if Urban Meyer is going to be the coach or not, do you think that's more on him or the Jacksonville Jaguars wanting to slow play and say, hey, man, don't announce it until, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, I do think, first of all, I think there is something to be said about I firmly believe the Jags wanted to slow the process down and get through the interviews and everything else. For now, for later, for just in case they get left at the altar, all those things, even in the situation, if we all believe, which I think a lot of us do believe, that they are courting him as their number one guy. I also believe there's a respect to the NFL, and this happens in Major League Baseball and a lot of other sports too. When your playoffs are going on, it's not really the ideal time to be announcing stuff and breaking news, right? I mean, in the spotlight are 6 NFL games over the weekend. So now is kind of the day that news starts to happen, and I would say I think the ball is still in Urban's court. So I think this is more about Urban getting through tonight and whatever duties he might have and say, hey, I'll let you know on Tuesday. But in the title of our show today, I put it's Decision Day. And the reason I think it's Decision Day, Austin, is I got to figure this out. I mean, it's go time, right? I mean, hey, we've been courting you. We've had discussions. You knew we were interested. We think you're interested. We met on Friday. You know what's on the table. It's time to make a decision because there are 5, now 6 other jobs out there, and there's competition for those jobs. We feel like we have the best job. We want to go get our next best guy if you're not going to say yes. So I believe this next 24 hours is huge on the Urban Meyer front if he is coming or going to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards the point more of he's going to be here than he's not going to be here. I truly feel like, listen, Urban Meyer, you can give him a lot of attributes and characteristics. Probably the biggest thing is that the guy loves to win, all right? And sometimes he puts winning over all costs, and that's fine. This is the National Football League. Welcome. And I just feel like a guy who wants to win so badly, which we assume Urban Meyer still does, and the guy who knows this already because he was a great college coach, is trying to be a great NFL coach, where you need every advantage that you can get in terms of coaching. And if that means that you got to announce that you're going to go with the Jaguars a little sooner so you can get your ducks in a row and so you can start, going on that, watching the college film. I mean, depending on the combine this year, we'll see what happens with that. But obviously getting the type of guys that you want, like, listen, this is all part of it, right? Like the sooner you get a coach and a staff in here, the sooner they can get to work. And I feel like the sooner you get to work, that's an advantage. That's a competitive advantage for a guy who cares about winning more than everything. So the fact that we haven't heard Urban Meyer say he's not interested, yes, that is a good sign if you're in the Urban camp, if you want Urban Meyer to come to Jacksonville. But I just feel like I'm a little surprised that he hasn't announced anything yet, even though he's got other obligations with Fox, just because, every day that goes by is an opportunity to start watching college film and getting your ducks in a row and going after the guys that you want for this up-and-coming draft.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting about the whole process for me, Austin, is I've got people, I know about for you too, but this is how big the Urban Meyer news is, right? Just the idea, and again, we can debate whether you want him or not or whatever, but the idea of it is so big in Jacksonville that I feel like I get double-digit texts like every day and twice a day about, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Is he coming? What's the latest? I mean, people that don't normally text about that stuff, I'm not talking about like news people saying, hey, have you heard anything yet? Is there breaking news? So I think it's pretty wild, but I've also had multiple people in the last week or so say, yeah, I don't think he's not going to do it. And then nothing comes out. And so that's where I'm a little, it's wild, right? I think everybody might have a feeling or think they know something or somebody might be close but the fact that we haven't heard by Albert Breer or anybody close to Meyer or any of these stories that he is not interested, he's going to stay at Fox, I think right now is a big win for the Jags if you want Urban Meyer. The fact that we're sitting here on Monday afternoon And I think decision time is near. I think the next 24 hours are huge on the Urban Meyer front. I've given you my window all along. I think Monday night we could start hearing reports whether he's in or out. And I think Tuesday could be the day we hear whether he's in or out. That doesn't mean the Jags have a coach, because if he's out, then they got to move on. But I know this week they will have a head coach. I mean, is there any doubt in your mind they're going to have a head coach by the end of this week?
No, there's absolutely zero doubt in my mind. That's almost a foregone conclusion, I feel like, at this point. Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if you heard something tonight, possibly after the game. But then once again, like, do you wait till tomorrow morning for, the whole news cycle and let, Ohio State or Alabama have their moment? I don't know. I mean, time will tell. I just feel like the fact that we haven't heard anything from Urban Meyer yet, it's a little peculiar. I don't think he's like trying to parlay this into more money from Fox. Listen, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Urban Meyer. I've never talked to the guy before. I don't know what he's all about. But I just feel like if you care about winning more than anything, then slow playing this whole thing, parlaying this for maybe more money someplace else, that's not the way to go about things if you're truly concerned about winning over everything.
Yeah, and this could be it for Urban Meyer, right? I mean, if he's not going to get into this situation, then what situation are you going to get into in the NFL? Now, maybe he could still go to the college game at some point. Maybe Ryan Day goes to the NFL in 2 or 3 years, and Urban wants back in at age 59, 60 years old, and says, okay, I'm going to go back there. That could happen, I'm sure. But so I don't say this is the end of his coaching career. But if you want a situation to go into in the NFL, I mean, maybe a better one comes along somewhere along the way. But between here and the Chargers, it's hard to find two.
Yeah.
and who knows if the Chargers are that interested. To your point, parlay it into money. Listen, I think at the worst case scenario, if I'm Urban Meyer, I think he's getting another $1 million or $2 from Fox at the worst. But I don't think that's his tactic here. I agree with you on that. If I was his agent, it would be a tactic. Hey, Urban, just make sure if you don't want to go, let's make sure we get another couple mil out of Fox. That would be the smart play. But I think he is seriously considering it. And I think wrestling with it, and who knows where these discussions have landed. Who knows the questions he's asking, what he needs. Is he hearing the right things from Shad Khan? I think it's fascinating because if Urban Meyer is the next head coach of the Jaguars, whether you like it or not, whether it works out or not, this has Shad Khan written all over it. I mean, this is not a search committee. This is not, hey, Urban's people reaching out. This is Shad Khan saying, I want that guy, and I'm going to get that guy because, quite frankly, he might be the only NFL team interested in that guy right now. So that part, to me, is really fascinating with Shad Khan, what looks to be going after Urban Meyer in this case. All right, what's a plan B? Are you interested in Doug Pederson? The guy's fresh off a Super Bowl a few years ago, and now he's available. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what else is out there. What could you do if Urban Meyer isn't the guy? And are we missing anybody? Is there a sleepy candidate that just hasn't been reported? Remember, and I always say this, the Shad Khan circle is tight. Like, we could interview Shad Khan in a couple weeks after he makes the hire, and he might tell us, oh, yeah, there are a bunch of guys that weren't reported that we talked to. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that happened in the last cycle and the cycle before that with Shad Khan. So are we missing anybody here that we could get blindsided by a potential coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars? All those topics. We'll actually go to Columbus, Ohio, talk a little bit about the national title game, but also what's the feel in Columbus about Urban Meyer? Do they think he's going to go to the NFL? What kind of coach would he be in the NFL? We'll do that later on in this hour. Happy Monday, everybody. The Jags coaching search continues. And, oh, yeah, they still have that GM job hanging out there as well. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Today will definitely be refreshing coming off of that cold weekend, tracking a sun-cloud mix with temperatures this afternoon into the mid-60s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe. and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Donato's Pizza is proud to support the Florida State Seminoles. When it comes to pizza for game time, we can suit any taste. From 100 pepperonis on a large loaded edge-to-edge on smoked provolone and Romano, to our delicious and healthy cauliflower crust tomato bruschetta with plant-based sausage, to mariachi chicken, to the founder's favorite, and more. We offer a convenient pickup window or prompt delivery. Just give Donato's a try. That's all we ask. Order at 904donatos.com or call 904-DONATOS on your phone.
You'll never paint your house again. Call the Coating Man.
The only company with a true never paint your house again warranty, providing the most advanced protective paints and coatings on the market, guaranteed never to fade, chip, crack, or peel as long as you own your home. For a free estimate and to save up to 40% off, call 888-COAT-USA. That's 888-COAT-USA or visit their showroom, 2000 Wells Road.
Call the Coating Man.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Do you have a passion for sales? Are you known for building strong relationships? Do you love to compete and win? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our family as a media consultant. This position will require a committed person who will forge great relationships with Jacksonville's business leaders and develop profitable campaigns for advertisers. If your talents are a match, email your resume to jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's JAXJOBS@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
The beer that made Milwaukee famous. Giannis Antetokounmpo, big sign, the deer that made Milwaukee famous.
Brent Martineau.
I can buy that.
Yeah, okay. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I can definitely buy that.
Hashtag and trademark. So if somebody try to steal it, I'm suing you.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
It feels good, Mr. Jameson. I knew, we had the capability of doing that. But, there's going to always be no naysayers, no matter what. So it's just one game at a time. I appreciate the win. Hard-fought team victory, They played great as well. Tennessee played a pretty good game, on both sides of the ball. But I'm grateful for the win. That's all God.
That is Lamar Jackson. Baltimore Ravens QB, and what a tired storyline that was. My God. And the guy's like 23 years old. He loses 2 playoff games, and it's will he ever win a playoff game?
Yeah.
Like he's Phillip Rivers at age 38 and has never won, even though he's been 15 times. I mean, that's the most asinine storyline I've ever seen. I mean, how about asking post-game, that's all we got to talk about. How about the lightning flash that happened on the touchdown run that really changed the game? My goodness.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, though, just how that one play changed the entire outlook of that game.
Absolutely.
Because Baltimore was looking dead to rights, and all of a sudden one routine Lamar Jackson, top 10 nominee highlight, and all of a sudden the Ravens win that game. It's crazy how just explosive, and it's so cliche. It comes down to a couple plays. Well, the game literally came down to that one play.
Yeah, and Austin, what's interesting about that, changed the momentum, but I also think it changes the way you look at Lamar Jackson, because we're talking in that, and I said this to Ty at the time, we're watching that game, and, Lamar Jackson's not playing that great, and then he has that, and it's like, holy cow, that was unbelievable, the way he shot out of that pocket, and bam, the rest was typical Lamar, but it was just the speed that, when speed comes across on TV like that, that's fast, okay? And so it was like, whoa, that was amazing, and so what happens in our day and age, right? It's a SportsCenter play. It's this highlight play. It's like the play everybody's talking about on Twitter, and like, oh, my gosh. Well, in our world today, I think it hides everything that wasn't good. Because, quite frankly, Lamar Jackson threw a bad pick, should have had another ball picked off in the end zone probably on like first or second down. So it was first down, I think. So it wasn't the right time to take a chance. He overthrew some play. Like, he just didn't look great. And then all of a sudden, it's the run play. And then he makes a couple of other plays. But if you look in totality of what I think Lamar Jackson did in that game, especially like the first 2.5 quarters, like it was a lot more not good than good. But that play just changed everything in terms of the flow of the game, but also the way you looked at Lamar Jackson. And good for him. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but that's what he is. Like, he can hide a lot of not so great because of he's got a gift that nobody else has in the NFL. I don't even think Kyler Murray has the gift he has, at least the way he runs. Kyler Murray does it a little bit different, and it's just when you can be that fast in a league that has the best players in the world, the best athletes in the world in that sport, and you can make them look that slow, my goodness, that's impressive.
Oh, yeah, don't get it twisted. Kyler Murray would never. I mean, it comes down to me, it comes down to Mike Vick, and it comes down to Lamar Jackson. And those are the two guys really that outside everybody. I get it, Randall Cunningham was a very mobile quarterback, but just like to make it look like a video game and to make it look effortless, like you're not even trying, those are the two guys to me that stick out.
Yeah, so, hey, good for him. We've interviewed him before in Jacksonville. He seems like such a good guy, Lamar Jackson. And I was really obviously happy for Calais Campbell. Jan goes too. I got to be honest, though. I saw Jan on one play. I'm not even sure how many snaps he played. Like, I didn't notice him.
Yeah, I mean, they were using a lot of Parnell McPhee, who I actually played with in Chicago, because they're trying to stop that run, obviously, with Derrick Henry. And by the way, they did a fantastic job of doing that. McPhee was a beast yesterday.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense, too, not having Jan in there against the run. But, good for Calais and those guys. I mean, obviously rooting for Calais. I don't care. It's like I don't have this angst like, oh, no, I wish Jan doesn't get the Super Bowl trophy. No way. I don't care what happens there. I'd love to see Calais go all the way to the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane. Big story around here is who's going to be the next head coach. Who's going to take the Jags someday to a Super Bowl, we hope. Is there a guy out there to do that? Well, there is a guy now available that won a Super Bowl just a few years ago, almost matched up with the Jaguars in that 2018 Super Bowl, 2017 season, and now all of a sudden has been fired. Doug Pederson, first of all, Austin, how surprised are you that he's fired? And what do you think the main reason why? There's a lot of reports saying that Jeffrey Lurie didn't like the direction he had planned, like who he was going to keep on his staff. But how much do you think this stems back to, you know what, we're going to pick Carson Wentz over Doug Pederson, or we didn't like the way you handled that last football game in the second half by basically giving up in that game?
Yeah, to me, it's a combination of things. And to answer your first question, I am not surprised whatsoever, because I even said, once you chose to put Sudfeld in over Jalen Hurts, you made the decision that winning is no longer important. You made the decision that you're going to let your ego get in the way, and you got to confront your players and say, well, we're going to let Hurts sit on the sidelines, and the backup can go in. Like, you can't justify that decision to the guys in that locker room. And I truly felt when that decision was made, that is when Doug Pederson lost his locker room. Now, he may have lost them, that day, but I think going into even this up-and-coming season during training camp, during OTAs, I think he might have lost them there as well. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. At the end of the day, Doug Pederson, if you look at the resume, listen, the guy won a Super Bowl. So props to you for doing that, right? Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl MVP one time. Right? But I didn't see people clamoring to get Trent Dilfer as a quarterback, years after the fact. Just like I don't see a lot of teams clamoring to get Doug Pederson right now just because I think he left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth in Philadelphia. So with Doug Pederson, if you're asking me the question, do I want him in Jacksonville? Absolutely not. Because he lost the quarterback room, number one. You're supposed to be a quarterback guy. And number two, you lost the team. I don't want that in Jacksonville.
Well, it's very hard to hire a fired guy. Okay? I mean, now, it happened in Philly before, Andy Reid. And look how that worked out. So Andy Reid went to Kansas City within like 24 hours, and that's been pretty good. But I'm just going to be honest with you. The whole Doug Pederson, maybe it's part of the book comment on Doug Marrone, and he just has always rubbed me as a bit too arrogant, maybe. And there's ego involved in all the coaching. You need it. I mean, listen, I'm all for Urban Meyer, and if you can't sit here and tell me there's no ego involved there, right?
Yeah.
But he's always just kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. Now I have no idea. I've never even interviewed Pederson, just from the outside looking in. And now there's some talk that he could end up with the Jets because Joe Douglas is the GM there, and so that would be a good fit. And that would be, once again, Austin, what you always say in terms of hiring your buddy, essentially. But I do think Pederson's a good coach now. I think he did a good job in Philly, not only in the Super Bowl, but remember the year later, I think they made a December run, and they beat Chicago, right, that second year on the double doinker.
Sure.
I think it was by Parkey. But just to get in the playoffs that year, I always said that my biggest compliment for Pederson was always I felt like he had them playing their best football like in late November and December, like at the right time. And so I thought that was a sign of a pretty darn good football coach. Now, that didn't happen for him this year, and now they've got a quarterback situation in Philly. My guess is they have to go offensive mind in Philly just to fix Carson Wentz, if he's fixable, because I would imagine they're going to keep him and nobody else is going to take on that contract. So I agree with you, though. I'm not that – this is a really good job. I think this guy's a pretty good coach, to be honest with you, in Doug Pederson. But it's almost like it's not a slam dunk enough for me to say, yeah, come on with the baggage. Like Urban Meyer to me is such a winner and so different and such a swing for the fences that if there's a little bit baggage in there, I'm okay with it. But that's the only guy I'm okay with the baggage. I want to get rid of some of that drama internally, and I think Pederson almost just adds to the drama instead of get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to help the optics, I feel like, if you're Jacksonville, you go after Doug Pederson. I think that you make that hire and people start scratching their heads going, what are you guys thinking? Just because, once again, if you have the youngest team in the NFL and you choose to provide that team with a guy who literally took out the starting quarterback because he wanted to see Nate Sutton? No. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? Everybody can see through the you-know-what. So I'll be honest, I got respect for Doug Pederson because of what he was able to accomplish back in 2017, and he'll be remembered in the annals of football forever. But with that being said, I don't want him in Jacksonville just because you're only as good as your last game, and your last game, in my opinion, was an absolute dumpster fire.
Hey, real quick before we get a break, what is Plan B in Jacksonville right now? They've interviewed 5 people that's been reported. Bieniemy, Arthur Smith, Meyer, Saleh, Raheem Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you lose one in Meyer, right, and because we all tend to believe, I think, I'm speaking for everybody here, that Meyer might be tops on their list, and say he doesn't want to do it, it doesn't work out. Well, what's Plan B? There's some talk like Bieniemy now might stay in Kansas City. There's some talk like Bieniemy doesn't interview very well. Is Bieniemy Plan B for this team? Is Saleh Plan B? What do you think Plan B is?
I mean, regardless of the whole Bieniemy, I'm not sure where the Bieniemy stuff is in terms of him not interviewing well. But if he was to stay in Kansas City, then you almost got to go Saleh, because I feel like you got to bring in a guy to kind of reinvent this whole thing and, be that leader, and Saleh can be that guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Although I'm not opposed to be enemy. I don't know what this interview stuff is. Who knows?
You just brought it up.
Well, I've read that. I've read some people that say, I've read about people say he hasn't interviewed well. What the hell does that mean? I mean, how do we know if he doesn't interview well? Shad Khan's the only one that can really answer that. We weren't in the room. So I think before I read that, I would have said be enemy because of Trevor Lawrence. I'm all for it. But Saleh has always been my pick. You just got to get a good offensive coordinator. I am not that intrigued as everybody else is, and I've heard good things from people I've asked about Arthur Smith, and it's got nothing to do with yesterday's game. Yeah. I'm just not as intrigued as everybody else is with that. And Raheem Morris, no thank you. By the way, it was a 91% no on our approval rating poll for Raheem Morris.
Are you surprised that they haven't interviewed Brian Dabble? Dabble?
Yeah. You know how I told you behind the scenes, I think everybody kind of connects the dots and knows what's going on? One of the reasons I believe maybe they haven't done that with Dable is I think they probably feel like he's going to Houston.
Just because it makes too much sense, right?
The dots are connected there. But I am a little surprised. To answer your question, I'm a little surprised. Dable's been a hot name.
Yeah, man.
And all the things he's won from Alabama to Patriots,
yep.
I don't understand why you wouldn't at least look under the hood.
Exactly.
Hey, when we come back, we go to Columbus, Ohio. We talk a little more Urban Meyer. Talk about the national championship game tonight as well. It's next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The first weekend of the NFL playoffs went pretty much the way they were supposed to. That is until the late game last night when the Browns jumped all over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first 20 seconds of play by returning a bad snap for a touchdown. At the end of the night, Cleveland moved on to KC, and Big Ben had tossed 4 picks. It's a topsy-turvy world indeed. Here's winning quarterback Baker Mayfield on what the win means to the Browns.
It means a lot for our guys to step up. We lost a few guys. Obviously missing Joel sucks, but Michael Dunn stepped up in a huge way, and then Jack goes down. Kendall Lamb steps up in a huge way, and then Michael ends up going down, and Blake, who I just met tonight, ends up stepping up in a huge way.
SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Greeny.
I'll tell you who Kyler Murray. People are going to compare him to Michael Vick. He doesn't look anything like Michael Vick to me. People are going to compare him to Lamar Jackson. He doesn't look anything like Lamar Jackson to me. You know who he looks like? If Barry Sanders was a quarterback, he'd have been Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray runs like Barry Sanders. You watch him run, and he's a great quarterback. He's a great thrower of the football. He's the closest thing to Steve Young. That's the best analogy to it.
Greeny, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, and on the ESPN app.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Hi, it's Phil with the Phil Aiken Home Team at Keller Williams. When it comes time to sell your home, put me and the Aiken Home Team to work for you. Here's why. Over the years, I've perfected the home selling system, putting the most money possible in your pocket. With my exclusive list of buyers in waiting, I may already have your buyer. And with thousands of buyers, I'm likely to create more demand and higher sales prices. I'll even guarantee to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or I'll buy it myself. Don't just take it from me. Let me introduce actual clients, Lynn and Craig. Tell us about your home selling experience.
We were immediately at ease. We had a great deal of confidence that any questions we had or anything that we needed to learn about the process was going to be handled in an expert and professional way.
We sold our home in just 2 days for $3,500 more than list price. Anyone who wants to sell needs to call Phil Aiken Home Team.
Thanks for sharing. The number to call is 904-500-PHIL. That's 904-500-7445. Or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
Save thousands and pay up to 50% less MSRP during the New Year's clearance event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Pay up to 50% less and buy a pre-owned 2020 Corolla LE from just $11,881. Save on Camry and pay up to 50% less on a pre-owned 2020 Camry SE from just $17,291. How about a pre-owned 2020 RAV4 XLE from just $19,991? Pay up to 50% less at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/New Year clearance for details.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round, plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat from Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card, $95, hundreds of dollars, and the perfect gift.
Feel like finding clothes in your is impossible? Type feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right. Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix is the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Well, I think our guys understand what's at stake, and at the end of the day, it comes down to executing your job and doing your job and being accountable to the guy next to you. And that's what it is, and you can make it bigger, bigger than it is. But at the end of the day, you got to do your job, and it's about the execution and preparation. And the more you prepare, the more confident you can be on game day. And so that's really what it comes down to, and there certainly is going to be excitement and all those things with a big game. But once the foot hits the ball, it's another game, and it comes down to doing your job. And so that's really all you do is just you continue to spend as much time as you can preparing for the game so you can play faster on Monday night.
That is Ryan Day, head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Play for a national championship coming up in a few hours down in South Florida. Let's go to Columbus, Ohio right now. Brent Martineau along with former Jags player Austin Lane. And we welcome in Dave Holmes from Columbus and TV station up there, WBNS. He also is a host of Game Time with Ryan Day. So obviously everybody in Columbus covers the Ohio State Buckeyes very closely, Dave included. And first thoughts on the national championship game, but I want some other thoughts too, Dave, on Ryan Day and even Urban Meyer. If you have a few minutes, thanks for joining us. Happy New Year. And the Buckeyes have a chance to beat Bama tonight.
Yeah, I think they do. Appreciate it, by the way, guys. Glad to be here. Yeah, I think they do have a chance. We've seen one thing in Ohio State in the playoff. They seem to play better as an underdog. I mean, we look back at the run in 2014-15, and they were an underdog, strong underdog with a third-string quarterback against Alabama and won that game, went on to beat Marcus Mariota and win a title against Oregon. So I think they can. I mean, they blew my mind with how well they played against Clemson. I thought that was going to be a close game. And if you told me one team is going to blow the other team out, I think we probably thought it would be Clemson doing the beating. So I was a little surprised by how well they played. So now that I've seen the ceiling, and we've seen the floor, the team is so talented they can't play that poorly, especially in the Big Ten. They're going to win every game. We've seen the floor all year. We saw the ceiling against Clemson. And if they bring the ceiling, then, yeah, they have 22 guys who are every bit as good as Alabama when they line across from them.
Dave, when we talk about the ceiling, it starts with Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day does a great job of setting his players up for success in big games. If you go back to that Clemson game, he did a fantastic job of using up-tempo a little more, what you're not really accustomed to seeing sometimes from Ohio State, using up-tempo, but also the run game. And being a former defensive lineman, there's nothing more sucky than playing an up-tempo style, offense when they can control the trenches as well. Do you see them going with that same kind of game plan Alabama, or do they flip the script and come up with something new?
I think they'll actually flip it a little bit. Now, I think this game is going to be played in the 30s and 40s because you just have two really, really good offenses and two defenses that are beatable at times. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I think if Ohio State could choose a style here, it's going to be Trey Sermon and ball control. I really do think you want to follow the same format you did against Alabama in that 2014 Sugar Bowl when they beat them with Zeke Elliott. And Trey Sermon has been, an epiphany here in Columbus because this was a guy who didn't even look like he should see the field early in the season. He was getting 6-7 touches. He looked uncomfortable after transferring from Oklahoma. And there are a lot of narratives about Ohio State, and I get it. Nationwide, some people think they don't belong. They didn't play enough games. And those are valid points. You're not going to get people in Columbus to agree with you on that, but I understand the case. I do think the Buckeyes needed more reps, and I think they were hurt by a lack of reps. But the one place where this is true is Trey Sermon is basically as fresh as he would be in mid-August. And I do think that is helping Ohio State because the run game and his legs look unbelievably fresh. So I think they want to lean on him tonight if they can.
Dave Holmes from WBNS in Columbus, Ohio, with us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Ohio State plays tonight against Alabama in the national championship game. By the way, shout out to Gahanna, Ohio. That's where my wife is from, so shout out to everybody in Gahanna and a good part of this beautiful country there in Ohio. The Sean Wade has a big matchup tonight against Devontae Smith. He's a Jacksonville guy, Dave. His stock was through the roof going into this year. I feel like it slipped a little bit. He has a chance to really make a statement tonight against this passing attack of Alabama.
It's interesting because Sean Wade's play has not necessarily matched up with his reputation. You were right. They looked at him. The Buckeyes strongly believe they are DBU, with all due respect to LSU. They think they produce first-round talents better than anyone. Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, Garyon Conley, Eli Apple. My goodness. I mean, how many first-round quarterbacks? And Sean Wade was the next guy on that list. It hasn't always been there this year. Now, there is a huge difference between playing slot corner, which he excelled at, and moving outside. And I think that adjustment's taken some time. The thing about Sean Wade, though, he has made plays when he needs to make one. And I think that's what this night will be. I don't think anyone's winning this thing 17-13. I think the key is who can get a fourth down stop, who can get a turnover on downs, or a turnover in general, because that's how this game's going to be won. I really don't think either defense is going to be able to hold them down. So Sean Wade, is he going to give up 100-plus yards to Devontae Smith? Yeah, there's a good chance that happens. But is he going to make a breakup on a 4th and 2? I think that's honestly how he'll be judged tonight.
I want to change gears a little bit here. Urban Meyer, obviously a guy who's been linked right now to the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of hype, kind of a lot of hearsay going on in the city right now. I'm just curious because when Urban Meyer left, University of Florida, I mean, you heard about it because everybody had an opinion about it, and especially being in Jacksonville, we're very close to that. What was the thoughts when Urban walked away in Ohio State? Like, what was that fan perception like?
Okay, so here's the thing, and let me say this. I realize this is going out to Florida. The health concerns with Urban Meyer are real. It's 100% valid. I'm not going to get into HIPAA things, but just I can swear to you it's real. And I know people in Florida might roll their eyes at that comment. That said, Urban Meyer did not want to stop coaching at Ohio State. I mean, everyone who knows him, and I hosted his show before Ryan Day's. He didn't want it to be done. Okay, he did not. The love did not go away. There was a serious health thing. He was also butting heads with university administration over the Zach Smith and that whole thing. Both those were legitimate reasons why I think Urban decided to step away. So the fan base was sad, but I do think they were quickly okay because of how good Ryan Day was. And I'll take the L on Ryan Day. I love the guy, but I thought they should have opened up the search just because the job was so prestigious. They didn't, and they made the right call. Ryan Day's fantastic. But the fan base was upset. Now, will the fan base accept Urban Meyer if he goes to the NFL? Yeah, I think they will for the most part. And I think that's why the NFL thing makes more sense than college. When the Texas job opened, and I said on social media, there's no way Urban Meyer goes to Texas. Longhorn Nation beat me over the head for about 72 hours, but it was never going to happen. Urban Meyer's legacy in Columbus is so important to him. It's more important than his legacy in Florida. He is an Ohio guy. He's from Ashtabula. This is where he's from. So he's very concerned about that, and I know that for a fact. That's not me guessing. He's concerned about his Ohio legacy. I think the NFL move is easier for fans to accept than if he went to someplace like Texas.
Dave Holmes, we got to wrap up from WBNS in Columbus, but what's your gut say? I mean, there's plenty of smoke here, man. I mean, they're interested. He's interested. I don't know if he's going to leave him at the altar and say, hey, I just don't want to get back in. What's your gut say? Is he going to go, and can he be a really good NFL coach?
Well, my gut has always said he's going to be a better college coach than NFL coach because I think he's better at motivating and recruiting than he is X's and O's. That said, Urban Meyer is not long for this world. He is a guy who burns fast and he burns bright. And if you're Urban and you have that cap space and a chance to draft Trevor Lawrence or whoever he wants on a 5-year rookie deal, I think Urban Meyer's a 5-year tenure kind of guy. So if he wants to try to do something, this is the right time to jump. I've always said in college it was going to be Notre Dame, USC, or nothing. I think this makes sense given his wife's love for Florida and his desire to coach again. I've heard that he's gone back and forth. I've heard it's been agonizing for him. So I think it's in play. We're going to find out in the near future if it's a real thing, though.
Hey, Dave, real quick. Are they going to throw a social distancing parade in Columbus for Jim Harbaugh since he re-signed at Michigan? Is that going down or not?
The reaction when he signed was like Apollo 13, the final scene when they land safely and everyone just explodes in cheers.
You better
Columbus
believe it.
Should not be happy. Jim Harbaugh.
Parties all around.
Hey, Kuz wants us to get out of here, but hey, man, shout out to your Brownies. You guys are like, I mean, your Browns are winning. Ohio State's in a national title game. You must be on like cloud 9 today.
If the Buckeyes win tonight, this is the best 24 hours in football history.
Hey, Dave Holmes, great stuff, man. Let's do it again. We didn't even get into Justin Fields and Ryan Day maybe going to the NFL, whatever, down the road. Thanks for jumping in with us for a few minutes, man. Good luck tonight.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. That is Dave Holmes from WBNS, and they're busy in Columbus watching that Ohio State-Alabama game. Really good stuff on Urban Meyer. And again, Dave hosted the coaches show there in Columbus, and now with Ryan Day, but formerly with Urban Meyer. So great insight on what could be coming down the pipe for Urban Meyer and potentially the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We'll continue to talk about this Jags job opening and the NFL playoffs that just happened over the weekend.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store or at homedepot.com/Pro Extra for details.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Boss, hit the gas! What's going on? You were supposed to check to see if that house had anyone home. Now their porch is on fire.
Boss, I didn't do it. The ding-dong doorbell camera just burst into flames and started melting.
Oh, so it's true. Those things are fire hazards.
Yeah, and now we know another big difference between those cheap ding-dong doorbell cameras and a SafeTouch security system.
Well, yeah, with SafeTouch, homeowners don't have to worry about their video cameras getting hacked.
Or employees spying on customers.
Or bursting into flames.
Uh-oh. Fire department's coming, boss. Time to go.
I'm way ahead of you. By the way, your eyebrows are completely gone.
Oh, well. Maybe it's an improvement.
Just so I know you still got your senses, recite the Crooks R Us golden rule again.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Don't worry, it's burned into my brain.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you know that there are 7 steps that can help to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild, even though they may have trouble controlling their anger or lack of focus or respect for others? Karate America takes pride in the tens of thousands of children they've impacted. Imagine your child or grandchild showing and earning respect, setting and achieving goals, and making good grades. Visit karateamerica.info to see if Karate America's leadership program is a good fit for your child.
The pizza you'll soon be eating contains more than 55 years of tradition. Donato's Pizza started in Columbus, Ohio in 1963 with a commitment to serve delicious, fresh-made premium pizza. Donato's in Jax Beach is still proud to deliver their made-to-order, edge-to-edge goodness right to your door or at their convenient pickup window. Check out their unusually wide variety of options at 904donatos.com. It's no joke when they say they have something for everyone. That's 904donatos.com. Give it a try and see what you think.
You'll never paint your house again. Call the coating man.
The only company who offers the world's best paint and the most advanced protective coatings on the market, guaranteed never to fade, chip, crack, or peel for as long as you own your home. Call for a free estimate by the end of the month and receive up to 40% off. Call 888-COAT-USA. That's 888-COAT-USA. Or visit their showroom, 2000 Wells Road.
Call the coating man.
In 2021, the new motto is seize the day. So you gotta go to Arlington Toyota because their super low lease payments are gonna put a brand new Toyota in your driveway tonight. Right now at Arlington, lease a new 2021 RAV4 LE for just $224 a month, or lease a new 2021 Corolla LE for an amazingly low $127 a month. Seize the day and make 2021 yours in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/January for full details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show today, you missed this. Are the Buffalo Bills for real?
I think they are. I mean, I've been a big Josh Allen supporter.
How about his start?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm not surprised.
I guess Jalen Ramsey wasn't right about him being trash. Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We believe in the people in this room no matter what's going on. As soon as the COVID news came out that we were missing some key guys, obviously starting with our head coach, we knew that everybody was counting us out, and we knew what mentality we were going to have. And it's just to cut it loose and go out there and give it everything we had. But there was no added pressure. There was no extra anything. It was just for us to go out and do our job because no one believed in us besides us.
I believe that was Baker Mayfield for the Cleveland Browns. And what a win that was. I mean, my goodness, that was incredible. Really, what they did, nobody did expect it. That's one of those things, that's one of those cliches in sports. Everybody counted us out. Nobody believed in us. Hey, you know what? This one time, I think they're right.
Yeah.
And give them a lot of credit. This is one of those things where it's a crutch and it's an excuse. It's Pittsburgh maybe better anyway, but, they didn't have their head coach. We didn't practice, all this stuff. And I'm not saying you don't need to practice and you don't need to have your head coach. But I also think this proves that you can still go out there and win a football game. You know how to play football. We talked about this on Friday, man. I think practice is overrated this time of year. Practice and preparation are two different things. From a physical thing, it's about getting healthy more than anything.
Yeah.
Now, some people are learn differently. So when you're installing and game planning on a Zoom call or a whiteboard versus on the field, that definitely might make a difference to an individual player. But I do think the fact that they didn't practice until Friday was a bit overplayed and could have easily been a crutch if they lost. What a performance. I mean, that was just mind-boggling what the Browns did. There's nothing short of stunning, and nobody would say otherwise. The fact that they jumped out to a 28-0 lead, 35-7, and quite frankly, man, when it was 35-23, I thought they were going to blow it.
No, without a doubt, right? Because you started to see a little more of a prevent defense. You started to see a little more in terms of offensive play calling, being a little more, reserved and not taking chances. So I thought for sure it was just ripe. It was farm fresh for the Pittsburgh Steelers to come around and steal that game and talk about one of the most major collapses in history. And it's funny, too, because I got a couple of friends that are Browns fans, and they even text me that. When the Browns are up 21-0, they're like, yep, here comes the collapse. And then it was 28-0, and they're like, don't worry, it's coming. No, they literally, they were still nervous when it was 28-0, but obviously they pulled it out at the end.
Yeah, if you've been a Browns fan, you know all about it.
Yeah.
Listen, the Jags, I still think the most underrated play of the Jags run in 17, really the 18 playoffs with 2017 year, was when Josh Lambo kicked that field goal from 40 yards or so in Pittsburgh. That put the game away. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't make that field goal, it's a touchdown game. And I'm telling you, I think Pittsburgh comes down and ties the game up and might win it. So the Jags had a 28-7 lead, and that thing disappeared against Pittsburgh as well. Now the storyline shifts to Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Heck, Drew Brees won, and people are wondering if most people thinking now Drew Brees will retire after the end of this year. I've got to go do a little TV hit on the coaching search right now on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You take it away. I want your thoughts on Ben Roethlisberger after that performance, the Pittsburgh Steelers in general. Is this about to be a breakup in Pittsburgh? They have a ton of free agents. This could be the end of a run for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers, first of all, listen, and I can't wait to collect them, and we're going to wait till Brent comes back because we got to talk about who is the better quarterback this year, Baker Mayfield or Ben Roethlisberger. And when I see 4 ints, and I call ints for interceptions, when I see 4 ints next to your name, Ben Roethlisberger, in the NFL wildcard round, it's hard to say that you're the best quarterback on the field. So I think Baker Mayfield might have won me my wager with Brent Martineau, but we're going to get his thoughts here a little later on. The whole thing with Ben Roethlisberger, man, it is kind of peculiar, right? Because if you were to wash your hands of Big Ben, I think he's got one more year left, but if you wash your hands of Ben Roethlisberger, then it's time to start anew, obviously, right? And I don't want to make up excuses for Ben Roethlisberger. I think when you have Claypool, I think when you have Johnson and you have Smith-Schuster doing his TikTok dances, you have the receivers to be successful. Where the Pittsburgh Steelers went wrong this year was the trenches. And I understand. It's so cliche to say, you got to win the trenches, Listen, if you want to talk about identity for the past decade of what Pittsburgh football has been all about, one would say it's been tough, physical, and winning in the trenches. And while they may have won in terms of their pass sets and protecting Ben Roethlisberger for the most part, they did not win in terms of running the ball. Whether it was James Conner, Benny Snell, they couldn't run the football to save their lives. Now, I get last night was a little bit of an outlier because they were down by so much, so you had to throw the ball 6 to 8 times like the Steelers did last night. But the whole MO, and I repeated this since week 12, week 13, when they first started to show signs of, is this team for real, even when they're still undefeated, is the fact that you can't win a football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers throwing the ball 40 times a game or 50 times a game. It just doesn't work like that. It's just the game flow and your personnel, it does not work like that. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, you can't get by on that. You have to play complementary football. And you saw that with the Cleveland Browns last night. They had a lot of help, obviously. Their defense showed up. But when you got Kareem Hunt and when you got Nick Chubb, that opens everything up. Keep in mind the Cleveland Browns that we're talking about here. Right? They were underachieving for the first quarter of the year, and they had Odell Beckham Jr. healthy. right? So when Odell Beckham Jr. goes down, and all of a sudden it seemed like the Cleveland Browns weren't trying to force him the ball anymore because he's hurt. So now you have Jarvis Landry, you got Higgins, you got Austin Hooper, but like you don't have that guy where you have to go out of your way to give him the ball. Yeah, maybe Jarvis Landry every once in a while, but I don't think Jarvis Landry is the type of cat to get upset if he didn't get 8 targets a game. So once Odell Beckham Jr. went down, as messed up as this sounds to say, I think that's when the offense really started firing all cylinders. Because now you went back to what you guys do well. You run the ball well. You get Kareem Hunt involved in the short pass game well. Every once in a while, a little play action to the tight end, you do that well. You don't have to throw these 80-yard bombs or try to do these screens to Odell Beckham Jr. because they weren't working. So, once again, as messed up as it sounds, when Odell Beckham Jr. went down, it seemed like this Browns team found a new gear. So, whether Ben Roethlisberger, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I don't know if they bring him back. I don't know if they go in a new direction. I think Smith-Schuster is going to be a free agent. I don't think they bring him back in terms of the distractions. And I say distractions like it's a big thing because he was dancing on, teams' logos. I mean, I really don't care about that. But I think that Smith-Schuster, the one common thing the past couple weeks is that he's provided bulletin board material for the opponents. Now, you know what I'm going to say. You shouldn't need someone to say you're the Cleveland Browns, so you shouldn't get upset about that. But that's a little extra added, maybe you're a little early. Maybe it's a little early in the morning. You don't want to go to, the stadium quite yet to watch film, but all of a sudden Smith-Schuster said something, and now you're there like 20 minutes early. Like, it's those little things during the postseason that can motivate you. And if I'm the Steelers right now, I'd probably wash my hands of Smith-Schuster. I know people might want him in Jacksonville. A couple people have said that. I'd rather take Allen Robinson, and I would probably rather take Chris Godwin if we're being honest here. The other guy, Phillip Rivers, it's kind of it's a bittersweet story from Phillip Rivers' perspective because he actually had a really good game. 27 for 46, not bad, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. But, to me, the bow of that day for Phillip Rivers was the last play of the game. And it was the biggest play of the game at the time when they had to have a Hail Mary to try to, win the game basically down by 3 because they couldn't kick a field goal. And you saw the arsenal that is Phillip Rivers' arm strength. Obviously, he's been in the league for a while. Obviously, that arm is probably gone by now. But to me, that was the bow where it's like, all right, here comes Hail Mary. Can he do it? We're going to see another Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins hook up. We're going to see T.Y. Hilton, defy the father time, if you will, and get a touchdown. No, because the ball couldn't get there. And, to me, that's the swan song of Phillip Rivers. So I'm not sure if the Colts keep Phillip Rivers. I think the fact that Jacoby Brissett was getting a lot of the goal line work, and I get it, Phillip Rivers is not going to run any kind of quarterback sneaks anytime soon. But I think the fact that Reich's looking for more of a guy who can be a dual threat type. And obviously Phillip Rivers isn't that guy. And I think if you look at that Colts roster, now don't get me wrong, they made the playoffs. You went 11-6. Congratulations. But you see that Colts roster, and I think they underachieved. You see that defense. You see the weapons that they had. You saw Jonathan Taylor come into his own. You still had Nyheim Hines. Yes, Marlon Mack got hurt week 1, but you didn't really need him. He was kind of an afterthought with all due respect to Marlon Mack. I just felt like that team was way too talented to get bounced off the first game. And I get the Bills are tough too, but that team was way too talented, even though it was a close game. So I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to be back either. And then Drew Brees, we shall see with Drew Brees. Because every time I want to talk bad about Drew Brees, he proceeds to shut me up. Right now, it helps when you have Alvin Kamara. It helps when you have Michael Thomas and all those weapons. But Drew Brees out of that group, that's the guy I'm not going to count out right now. But I think that if we're having conversations with Ben Roethlisberger retiring, well, then maybe it's time to have those conversations. If you're having conversations about Phillip Rivers, we'll have those conversations. But, don't get it twisted. You see what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. You think anybody in Green Bay right now is questioning, well, is Aaron Rodgers done? Absolutely not, because he's playing at a very high level. So I understand, age is always going to come down to the performance and stuff like that. But what do your eyes tell me? And last night, my eyes told me that Ben Roethlisberger, man, he's lost a couple steps. The Colts game, Phillip Rivers showed me, yeah, I mean, you're okay, but where's that arm strength? When you need a Hail Mary, when you got to go to the end zone, You can't do it. And what do my eyes tell me about Drew Brees? When you got Sean Payton pulling the strings, when you got Taysom Hill, like Drew Brees is always going to be serviceable. I just don't want to see that Drew Brees game where he throws 3 interceptions and it's like, what is this guy doing out here? Taysom Hill, take the second half. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm just saying if that comes, then I will raise the question.
Yeah, and Austin, here's the thing, okay? We're watching a bunch of old-time quarterbacks, and they've been brilliant. And I don't want to push them aside and rush them out of their careers. I think they still can be brilliant. I mean, heck, even in the disappointment, that was the most entertaining blowout game I've ever seen last night. Yeah. I mean, and Ben made it that way. I mean, once he didn't make the mistakes, and obviously the first mistake of the game was on Pouncey and just a silly one, and that's just like a nightmare start for any team. But he almost pulled them out of it. In fact, I put it one on Tomlin for not going for it on 4th and 1. Their offense was cruising so much. And then the defense, when they needed a big stop, couldn't stop Cleveland in the right spot. Or, again, Ben and that offense probably would have come back and made that even more of a game. So I still think he's got plenty of bullets in the arm, But as you watch him play, you can't. At times you're like, oh, my gosh, this guy can't move. This is a day and age where everybody can move. When you watch Phillip Rivers, he can't throw a 50-yard Hail Mary. Guys can throw it off their back foot with a flick of the wrist, 65 yards now. Drew Brees, same thing. Then you watch Tom Brady, and you're like, well, why is Tom Brady getting it done? And I'll always say this, man. Tom Brady he's still got the fastball. The fastball Tom Brady shows, and he showed it in that game, and then he had a changeup on the touchdown, I think, to Godwin right after it. And it was like, that's why Tom Brady can still play at 43 years old, because he can throw the 90-mile-an-hour fastball and then the changeup over the top with beautiful touch. Well, Phillip Rivers doesn't have a fastball, never really has. Drew Brees doesn't have a fastball. And I do think Big Ben can really slide it in there when he needs to, but their lack of mobility, in part their lack of arm strength, it's like it does feel like the game is passing them by, even for all their brilliance. So it might be time. I don't know how you handicapped it. I was on TV, but like Brees is reportedly like done. I mean, this is it. And I would not be surprised. Mm-hmm. Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger, and by the way, Brees is like this too, but Rivers and Roethlisberger are younger than Brees by like a few years. And I thought Rivers played excellent football against the Bills. And I think he's such a competitor. I think they're going to have him drag him off the field. But if I had to put a bet on it, I just don't know if there's going to be a fit for him somewhere. Will the Colts keep him, or do they say, hey, we need to go somewhere else and there's other people available? They've got plenty of money, by the way. Do they want to go try to make a move for Deshaun Watson or even a Sam Darnold, or maybe in the draft, or go young? And then Roethlisberger's really tricky. So I think Rivers is done. I think Brees is done. I think Roethlisberger does come back and give it one more whirl and maybe bridges the gap to the next guy in Pittsburgh for one more year. That's how I handicap those guys next season.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, I think with Phillip Rivers, I think Reich wants someone who's more dual threat to play, to fit in his offense, right? Like, I think if you can get a guy who can move a little bit, when I get Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor, like you have a potent arsenal at your disposal. With Phillip Rivers, you know what you're getting. Big Ben, I'm not sure. Like, if you lose Smith-Schuster and you lose some of those guys and you redo the whole thing, I mean, I don't know if it pays to go in a new direction or if it pays to have the bridge guy there. From what I saw that first half, though, from Big Ben, I'm just like, man, it should not look like this. This is not Steelers football. I understand that, all right, Cleveland came ready to play and they came motivated, but let's be honest, the Pittsburgh should have won that game. And I think they should have won that game pretty easily, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get the job done. A lot has to do with Big Ben Roethlisberger. With that being said, though, Brent, and now I go back to the most important task at hand. We had a little wager. Better quarterback this year, Baker Mayfield, Ben Roethlisberger. Okay? Now, if you want to go by regular season stats, it was close. Okay? Big Ben was – let's go with the stats real quick. Big Ben was 16th in yards. He was tied for 7th with touchdowns, tied for 18th in interceptions, and tied for 22nd in quarterback rating. Baker Mayfield in the regular season, 18th in yards, so pretty close to Big Ben. Tied for 12th in touchdowns, tied for 10th in interceptions, and 10th in quarterback rating. And then we go to the performance last night, and I just feel like it's not even close, Brent. So do you concede now? Is it safe to say that Baker Mayfield has had the better season than Ben Roethlisberger? Gonna need you to concede. I'm gonna need you to say, I'm Brent Martineau, and I'm conceding to Austin Lane. Baker Mayfield was the better quarterback this year than Ben Roethlisberger.
Here's as I dig into this.
Gonna need you to concede.
I feel like I'm almost willing to go there because I was kind of willing to put this game on that. Like if you had asked me on Friday, which you wouldn't have been willing to do because you're not tough enough. But
nice.
I would have said, okay, Sunday determines it.
Yeah.
So I'm just, that's where my mind was at.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I wanted to make the case more for Ben, I would say, said this.
Let's see you dig yourself out of this one. I can't wait.
Well, you said it all year. Like,
Get
they
the button
throw
ready.
it 50 times a game.
Sure.
And Baker has a 200-yard running game every game. And Pittsburgh, I saw last night, they were worst in the league in rushing yards per game and per carry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, from who was asked to do more, and was there really that much separation statistically? I mean, again, I'll go off my premise of what I said. I think it was pretty close this year between those two guys.
Sure.
And so I think we could have made the case that Sunday was a determiner. You didn't want to do that when they didn't have their head coach, didn't practice, were a 6-point underdog. You didn't have the belief in Baker Mayfield. Kind of like the time when you benched Kyler Murray a couple of times for Josh Allen.
Didn't have to. Hey, you know what? Playmakers make the plays. Brent, are you going to concede or not?
I'm going to give this one to you because I think it means something to you.
I mean, it's pride as usual. It doesn't mean that much. It just means that I beat you. That's why I show up every single morning for this stuff. I mean, what are we talking about here? So, Brent Martineau, you are conceding.
Yeah, I'm gonna
end of an era.
But I'm not going. I'm not going to the award ceremony.
Hey, that's fine. No, hey, this is the award ceremony. Coos, go ahead and get my champagne glass ready, get my trophy ready, and I can't wait to have the next segment here.
Somewhere along the way, those statistics were fraudulent.
Hard being right all the time. Brent, he had a 66.8 quarterback rating last night. You want to hear Baker Mayfield's 92.8? Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. You hate to see it. Sorry, Brent. And then those Patriots can lose a couple more games for you.
What else did we have?
Do you want to go? Do you want to go over the bets once and for all now? I'm sorry, the wagers once and for all.
Are they done?
They're done.
Yeah, we could maybe see where we're at coming back.
Are you sure you want to do that to yourself?
I already picked. I already beat you in the picks. Predictions, preseason predictions. So I'm happy about that.
The preseason prediction. Oh, I got you. Yeah. You did.
I beat you even with a 3-game losing streak in the NFC. And you still have never been able to crown the leadoff hitter of the year award correctly.
Brent, because they keep misusing him. He was batting second this past year. What do you want me to do about
That's
it?
what you get for picking a Yankee. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
We will be mild today, topping out into the mid-60s with partly sunny skies. However, we are tracking increasing clouds later in the day, becoming mostly cloudy tonight, tracking late-night isolated showers with temperatures dropping to around 50 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, you're probably looking for ways to stretch your dollar these days. So, saving up to 30% on workers' comp insurance could mean more now than ever. That's why you owe it to yourself to check your rate with Pi Insurance. With Pi, it's easy to find out if you're leaving money on the table. Just get an online quote in 3 minutes on your computer or smartphone. Simply go to trypi.com and see if you're overpaying for workers' comp. Pi Insurance was created exclusively for small businesses. Built to make workers' comp work for you, with a simple online experience and trusted service. Pi is rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers, who say they make getting insurance as easy as pie. What are you waiting for? Find out today if you could save up to 30% for your workers' comp insurance. Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance, or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Hey, know when the best time to buy Christmas lights or artificial Christmas trees is? December 26th. Off-season rates are for real. It's the same for air conditioners. Believe it or not, January isn't a hotbed month for air conditioner sales, because no one's AC is breaking down in this weather. So why am I telling you all this? Because I've already done all the extensive technical and customer service training for my AC techs. I hire the best and train them even better. That's why they can fix what others can't. And part of my promise to them is a steady 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. And right now, they ain't busy. I'm paying them like I promised, but I'd sure rather be sending them out on install jobs. So if your system's older or you'd like to upgrade it, now's the time. By mid to late February, we'll be busy again, scheduling and running spring tune-ups for all our loyal Club Griffin members. But now's the time for a deal. So ring us at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
All right, Jason Fitz, thanks for checking in, man. We didn't try to keep you too long today. We gave you a shorter one.
Austin Lane.
Hey, Jason, real quick, man, since you have that Bowen-Koff award, since you can, vote on that, Murray State's got a couple good receivers. Now, they didn't play this year, okay? They didn't play a game this year, but Murray State's got a couple good receivers. Just check them out real quick.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Glad we won. Glad we got another week of work, and we're going to go in there and try to do a much better job this week. And get ready for whoever our opponent is. It's going to be a good one. And, we're going to have to go play great football.
That is Tom Brady.
Cole Beasley. Dang. No one includes somebody random. That Adam Thielen one. Brett, you weren't here for that one when he randomly played Adam Thielen one day.
It threw him off because the Wisconsin accent.
I was so upset. I thought it was Joe Schobert. He's like, no, it's Adam Thielen. Why, though?
Yeah, that is pretty random.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Job search continues for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, by the way, has anybody heard anything about the GM? Does anybody not believe me anymore that they think they're going head coach before the GM? I think we're onto something on that one. And by the way, I still think that makes so much sense. Like, I get that question a lot too. Like, well, why aren't they going the GM? Why aren't they going GM? And I think it's been I think it's been an orderly way of how things have been done. But this is a different world now. You know, coaching is different. The way teams are put together in Major League Baseball and even the NFL. And it's not just analytics, but it's just thinking outside the box sometimes. Or we ask ourselves now, why do we do it that way? Mm-hmm. And I think the GM head coach thing, depending on who you want to be, depending on your candidates out there, I think it's a sincere ask of, why do we do it this way? Like, if the head coach is the guy, then why are we having the GM pick the head coach? Why wouldn't we pick the head coach and then know what he wants to do and see if it's a good fit system-wise, kind of players you'd get, personality, all those things with the GM. They have to be able to work hand in hand, no doubt. So whether it's chicken or the egg first, you have to make sure they work together very well. No doubt. That is super important. That has not changed. But I love the idea of going after the head coach first. And now I'm not 100% sure you would go after the head coach if you're picking Arthur Smith or even Brian Daboll. Like, Houston might be doing it right if they want Daboll to get like Caserio, and then he lures them in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not all the time, but definitely in an Urban Meyer courtship, it makes perfect sense to go after the head coach first. I actually think Saleh, from what I understand, is a guy that if you're super interested in him, he's very well connected, and I think there are people that will go with Saleh, you know, from a GM perspective, like, all right, I'm going to wait to see where he goes because I want to go where he goes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I think, like, listen, just because we've heard Urban Meyer, you know, we've heard Bieniemy, doesn't mean that they're not doing their due diligence right now, too, at the GM position, right? Maybe if Urban Meyer is indeed going to be the guy, then he's already got an idea of who the GM's going to be. It's just, to me, that the GM, it's not the sexy type of thing, right? Like, while we're talking about Urban Meyer and Bieniemy and Arthur Smith, like, those are like the pretty girls at the beach bars. Then you have the GMs that are kind of like the girls at TGI Fridays. No disrespect to TGI Fridays, but it's different. You know, like, you don't, that doesn't excite you to find girls at TGI Fridays. And that's what we're kind of dealing with. So while we're not talking about them, they're still there. They're still getting their half apps and taps, Brent. We're just not seeing them right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thanks for the analogy.
You're welcome,
I'm still trying to digest that.
Digest that, man. You know what I'm saying, Brent.
I don't know what I enjoy more, your analogies or the analogies they were trying to do on the Nickelodeon broadcast to explain things.
Let's just say they did a great job explaining when that guy cussed on the field, better than I would have. When that one dude swore.
Oh, yeah. How did they do that? I heard it, but I didn't see them. How they escaped
I think
that?
they just, like, jumped past it pretty quick.
Yeah, they didn't really address it.
I saw someone tweet that was saying, like, how are the Nickelodeon broadcasters going to explain the Browns or the Bears taking Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes?
Now we're talking.
Like,
well, and by the way, congratulations to Mitchell Trubisky for winning the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player.
MVP.
Yeah. Did you know that, Brent? We won the.
I saw that, yeah.
Imagine, like,
that's a good parting gift, potentially.
Oh, exactly. And
Is he going to be the quarterback next year in Chicago?
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to go in a new direction. I'm not sure if I mean, I guess Nagy's going to be there then, huh? You think Nagy's going to be there still?
Yes, I do. I think it's tough for Chicago to make a change now. Keep in mind now, there's 7 job openings. That's a lot. Like, you better have a lot to offer, or you better move swiftly, or know exactly who you want if you're going to fire your guy now.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that Nagy wasn't fired this morning, I tend to believe that they're sticking with him.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, who won the bets? What else you got?
All right, Brent, so check this out. This dated back to, this is almost a year old now that I'm going back to the archives here to pull these out. But we had some wagers, some friendly wagers, nothing on the line except pride, which is always the most important thing, despite what you say. So here are some of the wagers that we had. Let's see how we did. First of all, and this is number 1, all capital letters here. Who is going to have the better season? Ben Roethlisberger, Baker Mayfield. I don't want to gloat too much. I was right. I said Baker Mayfield. Brent, sorry, you're 0 for 1. Number 2, Jags will have more wins than the Patriots. I said absolutely not. Brent, you were Sunshine and Rainbows. You said yes. Ouch. 0 for 2.
Hey, that was I took one for the team there, folks. Glad to be 1-15.
Brent sacrificed himself for everybody. This one's a little more interesting because it's open-ended. Tom Brady will play in another Super Bowl. You said no, and I said yes. Time will tell. Okay?
Wow, you said yes to that.
I did say yes to that, and I'm not feeling too bad about it. I don't know. We'll see. Brent, come on. You're tossing me softballs here with some of this stuff. Better offense this year in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals or the Atlanta Falcons? I think we know how that one turned out. I'm not sure why you're on the – what do you mean hold on?
Hold on. I'm going to look.
Hey, spoiler alert, it didn't turn out well for you.
Did you already look this up?
I mean, isn't it obvious? I don't got to look it up.
What do you mean? You don't have to look it up.
Okay, fine. Let's look it up. Now you're wasting everyone's time.
I am.
Brent, I feel like the Cardinals' offense was much better than the Falcons' offense
wasn't
this
as
year.
Much as you were. They were a point better.
That's fine.
Points per game, 25.8 to 24.6.
Yep, and you know what? And they made it look better too, so that counts for something. This next one has got to be an asterisk. It doesn't really count. Better cornerback this year. I had Christian Fulton. You had Trevon Diggs. Unfortunately, Christian Fulton only played in 6 games, so we can't really count that one because he had COVID-19. What are you saying?
Why can't we count that?
Because he only played in 6 games.
Diggs was
Brent.
Tremendous.
Brent.
Availability is a great quality.
Are you denying COVID-19 right now? What are you trying to say? He had COVID-19. He had COVID-19.
We're in Florida. We don't count that.
Brent, I don't know. If you want to compare the numbers real quick, because I have the numbers here, and they're not going to do you any favors. So, all right, your guy who was supposed to go in the first round, according to you, Trevon Diggs, played in 12 games, 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 1 quarterback sack. Nicely done. And he had a lot of tackles, by the way, too, but those are just tackles. Who cares? And then Christian Fulton played in see, this can't be right. The guy only played in like 5 games, but check out the stat line. He had a sack. He had a tackle for loss. He had an interception. Like, Brent, this guy was on pace for Rookie of the Year, and then COVID-19 comes around. So, hey, you know what? If you want to take this W, then take the W. But I don't know how you sleep at night. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Move over, Aaron Donald. Here comes Christian Fulton.
I'm just saying the guy was on pace. Unfortunately, COVID-19, man, it was a rough year for everybody. If you want to take that W, then so be it. But I'm going to say this right now. It says a lot about your character if you do.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay.
What else you got?
Does Jalen Ramsey show up in an elaborate way for training camp? You said no. I said yes. This was pre-COVID-19, though. Once again, asterisks. Okay.
That's a fair enough. Off the board.
Here we go. Off the board. I like that. Next one. Oh, yeah. Brent, I don't know what. I mean, in terms of whatever, man. Okay. Better year overall at the tight end position. Noah Fant or Tyler Eifert?
I said Eifert?
You said, yeah.
I was really banking on Fant getting hurt.
Yeah, I guess you were. Unfortunately.
Let me see. Hold on, I got to look up Fant's numbers.
Brent, I mean, what did Eifert do this year?
I don't know. He stayed healthy the whole year. That's a win.
Okay.
62 catches, 673 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, you'll probably win that one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
I thought he got hurt more than that. 62 catches. Yeah. 36 catches, 349, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's going to be Brent Marno conceding. All right, next one. We got the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC Championship, open-ended. I have them winning the AFC Championship. You don't, so we'll see.
Yeah, you like your chances there.
Love my chances. Dude, the sunshine and rainbows that comes from you is unbelievable. The Jaguars' defense is going to finish 16th or better. I said no. You said yes. I think we know how that went. Do you want to see the stats?
No, I don't.
Do you want to go to the numbers? Okay.
It was the worst in NFL history.
All right. For some reason, we had a baseball one kind of pop up in here. We had more home runs, Stanton or Judge. Obviously, that's a wash. Excuse me. Wait. Whoa.
I won that one.
Did you count the playoffs?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I still won that.
Did you count? Are you sure? Because the playoffs, I feel like Stanton was getting hot.
He was for about a week.
Okay. It was a big week. All right, you got that one. This one. I mean, come on, Brent. Better in 3 years. It's open-ended, but it's really not. So go and concede to this one right now. Better team in 3 years. The Ole Miss Rebels or the Mississippi State Bulldogs?
I rang the bell.
Yeah, you definitely rang the bell.
I took one for the neighbors.
Yeah. Are you going to concede?
No, I'm not conceding that. No way.
Going to concede that one?
The Ole Miss, Ole Miss was 500, man.
Yeah, and what was Mississippi State? Mike Leach lost that team already. Are you gonna concede?
No, I'm not conceding.
Let's go and bear this cowbell. A real somber. There you go. Next one, Dak Prescott. This is open-ended. Dak Prescott will make over $35 million on a new contract next year.
What did I say?
You said he was gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said no?
I said no.
Wow. You're usually player friendly on that.
I know.
I'm surprised you said no.
And this is the last one. And once again, this goes to show your fantasy football expertise. I don't know what you were on this day. Tua Tagovailoa would be a top 10 quarterback in fantasy production.
I said yes?
You said yes, and I said no.
Did you just add that one in?
No, I
don't
promise.
remember that.
Brett, it's in the archives, man. It's in the archives. I think you were saying how the whole, he can run and like they're gonna. I don't know. You were on one day.
He was in the top 3 for jersey sales.
There we go.
Well, there
so
you go,
there's
Brent.
something.
I think we misphrased the question. That's what that was. I can't believe I would even say that because I don't even think I thought he would play much of the year.
Yeah, we have to go back to that one. I think you're feeling like froggy because your fantasy team was doing all right for the first couple weeks or something like that, and like you're really feeling yourself. So you're like, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and try to be like Austin Lane, but it didn't work, unfortunately.
That doesn't look good. I've lost a lot of those bets.
Yeah, so wait, welcome back down to reality. You were feeling dang good about our bets. We're talking about the preseason and all our divisional winners and our wild card teams, and now it's back to reality for Brett Martineau.
2020 was a crappy year, kind of a throwaway year.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I'm off to a great start here in 21.
Absolutely.
Playoffs, I think I went 4-2.
You did?
In the picks over the weekend. So, who, by the way, before we take a break, get back in the Jags discussion, was there anybody so hot this weekend that you were like, oh, I've changed my mind. They're going to beat Kansas City, or the Saints aren't going. Like the Bills they weren't like, oh, wow, put up a 50-burger. Again, I thought the Colts outplayed them, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Cleveland was impressive, but didn't it kind of feel a bit fluky how impressive they were?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rams still, man, you've got to play some level of offense.
Well,
I think, you're going to have to play offense.
So here's the thing. I'm more impressed with the Rams, I think, than anybody because what they had at their disposal and to still win the game like they did. Like, listen, Green Bay is definitely the favorite right now in the NFC. But if you put Jalen Ramsey and Devontae Adams, they shut Devontae Adams down, it begs the question, what else does Green Bay have as receiving threats? I mean, they have Robert Tonyan, maybe Lazard, but we haven't seen Devontae Adams get shut down yet pretty much the entire year.
Yeah,
what happens, you put Jalen Ramsey on him?
Not only that, but where's the best place to beat a really good quarterback? Up the middle.
That's a good point.
And Aaron Donald is unbelievable.
Now
we'll see his health, but I don't like this matchup for Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
I see you, Brent, talking defensive line in here.
Yeah, I thought about that today. We'll break it down later in the week. But if you get Ramsey playing lights-out football against Adams, and you don't have to shut him down completely, and you get Donald doing his thing, that could be bad for Green Bay.
Watch those endorsements, Brent. Watch those endorsements.
I don't know. I still love you, the pickle, because we got Aaron Jones now. Aaron Jones could be an X factor in this game.
There we go.
Talk about that
Nice
later
save.
in the week. I do want to ask you this. Do you like the format? Are they going to keep the format? 7 teams, which means 6 games in that opening weekend with a bye. We'll talk about that. Back to the Jags coaching search as well. It's on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The first weekend of the NFL playoffs went pretty much the way they were supposed to. That is until the late game last night when the Browns jumped all over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first 20 seconds of play by returning a bad snap for a touchdown. At the end of the night, Cleveland moved on to KC, and Big Ben had tossed 4 picks. It's a topsy-turvy world indeed. Here's winning quarterback Baker Mayfield on what the win means to the Browns.
It means a lot for our guys to step up. We lost, a few guys. Obviously missing Joel sucks, but Michael Dunn stepped up in a huge way, And then Jack goes down. Kendall Lamb steps up in a huge way, and then Michael ends up going down. And Blake, who I just met tonight, ends up stepping up in a huge way.
SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti.
James Harden, if he wanted to get to Brooklyn, could get to Brooklyn. Him, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, if that happens, they would be the favorite to come out of the East. That could be your NBA Finals next year. The Lakers, LeBron, AD, Dennis Schroeder versus the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Happy New Year from the team at CGC Water. This new year, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember this limited time offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Special holiday financing still available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. Have a happy, safe, and prosperous new year.
Boss, have you heard the latest about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What, more employees spying on customers?
Nope.
Hackers again?
No, boss, this time they had to recall over 350,000 video doorbells.
Recall? What happened?
A bunch of them caught fire.
Whoa, unbelievable. It's one thing after another with them.
Yeah. Notice you never heard that with Safe Touch's video cameras?
Well, now you're just comparing a Bentley with a bumper car.
Exactly. I just don't understand why any homeowner wouldn't go with Safe Touch.
Yeah, their video monitoring's virtually hack-proof. Oh, and here's a bonus. Safe Touch cameras don't burst into flames.
No kidding.
It's just a good thing not everyone knows about Safe Touch, because we gotta stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah, don't gotta tell me twice.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
A customer came up to me the other day to say she found herself saying exactly that.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
Because she walked into a friend's home with a Florida-rated AC system and could feel the difference. Now that's a good thing, but this particular customer had mixed feelings about replacing her not that old AC. On the one hand, she was excited about being way more comfortable in her own home. No more sticky humidity. Fortunately, she reached out and I offered her upgrade options that gave her the comfort she wanted without replacing her system or costing more than her budget. So if you've been wondering if that whole Florida rated thing I'm always talking about is for real, yeah, it is. And if you're interested in upgrading, now is the perfect time. Because I'll let you in on a little secret. As a premium service provider, I generally don't discount. But I'll certainly do a little pencil sharpening during the slow season for customers ready to upgrade to the Griffin service experience. If that's you, call me at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station. My name is Deborah. I serve as a district manager for the Florida Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. I am passionate about helping others and advocating to protect the quality of life and the rights for those who many times cannot help themselves. You can make a difference in someone's life today. Visit us at ombudsman.myflorida.com to learn more.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti.
I despise analytics. It felt like Kevin Cash lost his ability to feel the game.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
You guys said all the right things all week about what happened back in November, the logo thing. Peters picks off that ball. It was a group picture on the logo. What went into that?
Hey, man, I was just following my teammates. I had no idea that was happening.
Come on now, you've been around long enough. You know
I
what
didn't know
you're
that was
doing.
happening until I got there. But at the end of the day, I mean, hey, respect is earned. Respect is earned.
There was an intensity about Calais Campbell yesterday, man. That was funny. He was like, oh, yeah, I was just out there. He's flexing on the logo.
Yeah.
But, you know, in hindsight, he is so into the integrity of the game, right? He respects the game and all that stuff. And so my guess that was a teammate thing, but I'm not sure he would have been leading that charge on the logo under normal circumstances. Don't you find it interesting, like the Titans and Ravens hate each other? And like the logo thing seems like such a college thing to me. Now, I understand Terrell Owens did it. But outside of that, like, has the logo really ever been a thing in the NFL? Like, what am I missing?
I mean, well, you saw Juju too, right? When he did his TikTok dance, and then a while after, then he got decleated.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, that's my this year. I don't remember it being a thing before.
This is one of like the unwritten rules, I guess you would say, right? And it stems from during your pregame warm-ups, like you have your side of the field, and then your opponent has their side of the field. And especially if you're an away opponent, like one would say, like you're at someone's house then, right? So you respect the fact that you don't cross the 50-yard line because that's their side. Well, when you go to like the center part of the field in the logo, that's like somebody's carpet, right? Like that's like the home team's carpet.
Yeah.
And some people could take it to the fact that, hey, you're gonna, bring your muddy sneakers or whatever you want to call it on the carpet and disrespect it. Now, for me, like, I don't know. I don't know how to take it. Like, I think if I saw that happening during pregame, well, then, yeah, I'm fired up. And usually that's where you see, like, especially in college, where, like, the bench is kind of clear in the pregame warm-up. Everyone's got their cutoff shirts on. Everyone's got their headphones on, and they're ready to throw down. But, like, in the NFL, it's a little different, right? Like, I don't want to say it's childish because it is still a prideful thing. But, like, after the game, if I'm the Titans locker room and I see that, I'm just like, man, we just got beat. I really don't care. I'm walking off. That's probably how I would take it. But
yeah, and here's what else is interesting to me. The Titans and Ravens, like, okay, they've played a couple of times, like last year and earlier this year, but all of a sudden now that feels like a rivalry that's like Ohio State and Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But which I kind of like this. I don't think there's much a rivalry in the NFL. And you know how we say, like, the NFL game feels so much closer to the college game, and we say it schematically from an offensive point of view. But the league is so young, man. I mean, so young. Like, and so much so that I don't even think the Jags should be able to use it as an excuse for their pitiful play this year.
Yeah.
1-15, because the other two youngest teams, I want to say, were the Rams and Dolphins, second and third. Well, look what they did.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an excuse. And I also believe, like, Lamar Jackson's, what is he, 23 years old? He's 23 years old. He's already won an MVP, and he's taken the team to the playoffs 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
He might be like 24 years old. But my point being, I just saw a stat, actually, that, like, the oldest quarterback in the AFC playoffs left is Baker Mayfield at, like, 25 years old or almost 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. So it's a young league, and I just wonder if a lot of that breeds into more of this, right? More of the hostility between teams.
Listen, and I guarantee right now that there were some fans in Nashville, whether at the stadium or even watching that game, and they probably saw the Ravens do that, and the fans were like, well, where's the players? Like, where's the repercussions? Someone's got to pay for that. Like, that's disrespectful. And, and then they go on their Twitter rants and all that stuff. But, like, it's a new era, Brent, right? Like, it's ushering a new era of football. And, like, Smith-Schuster, say what you want about him, right? The whole TikTok thing on the logo, like, I really don't mind it. I find it kind of funny that he's kind of riling up a lot of, like the older guys in the league or like the older vets that are now retired because they're trying to treat it like it's like Footloose where like, you can't dance. Like, what is this dancing nonsense before a game? You can't do that. And, and like Smith-Schuster's kind of like Kevin Bacon or whatever. Like, it's all good, man. Like, listen, you can still dance and you can hate on Smith-Schuster all you want, and I get it. Sometimes he may say something that can be quotable that the Browns can use to their advantage. But if you, and Kuz, you can attest to this. If you look at Smith-Schuster's like brand and his following on Twitch and all that stuff, I mean, he's one of the most popular players in the entire world because of like the video gaming and the dancing and things like that. Like, it's not made for me, and it's not made for the 10-year vet. But like, as far as a branding genius, I think Smith-Schuster is that.
There are, on top of that, there are a lot of kids that probably don't watch the NBA, but know who like Kyle Kuzma or Ben Simmons is because they stream together.
Or Smith-Schuster.
Devin Booker, yeah. Smith-Schuster, all that, yep.
Yeah, and actually, Buddy Pete Cab just reminded me too. He said, they go back to the AFC Central, Ravens, Titans, much like the Steelers and Jags. And while I understand that, I wasn't thinking it from the fan perspective. Like the Jags fans, I was going to bring that up. Jags fans, they like I tweeted last night. I said the Colts lost, the Titans lost. Houston looks like they're a mess, and the Steelers lost. Like, that's still a thing around here to see the Steelers lose. So I understand it from the fan perspective. I guess what surprises me is from the player perspective that it's increased to that level in the last couple. All it takes is like a game or two. That's the point.
Well, see,
and that's it. Like, it's one or two. It doesn't even have to be in your division.
See, I think it takes a game or two, but it's also the style of those games, right? When you think of the Baltimore Ravens, you think of the Tennessee Titans, they're both two physical teams usually. So, like, that kind of breeds, rivalry as well. Like, as opposed to the Kansas City Chiefs, like, they don't have any kind of rival because nobody can match them. Right? Like, no one's going to go, blow for blow with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think you have to have that type of identity to have that good rivalry as well. Like, you see with the Steelers and the Browns, obviously, as well. So it's all about the identity, Brent.
Yeah, and I think to that point, I think fans would say the Titans are the number one nemesis, no doubt. Like, you want to see the Titans lose. You hate the Titans.
Yeah.
But I think the Steelers are a close second. Like, I don't think the Indianapolis Colts are that way. I really don't feel that as much, and I don't think Houston is that way. I still think the Steelers carry that much weight from the old days to be like the team that you can't wait to beat. Like, if you could pick a team to beat, I think the Steelers are right there with the Titans still. I mean, so there's but not a holdover of players necessarily, more so from the fan base. Hey, I love it. I think the rivalry part, it's not like college in terms of rivalries in the NFL, but it feels like we have some, which is cool. That's a good thing. All right. Are we missing somebody in the coaching search for the Jags? Is there a sleeper that isn't being reported? Let's talk about it next. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
You'll never paint your house again. Call the Coating Man.
The only company with a true never paint your house again warranty, providing the most advanced protective paints and coatings on the market, guaranteed never to fade, chip, crack, or peel as long as you own your home. For a free estimate and to save up to 40% off, call 888-COAT-USA. That's 888-COAT-USA, or visit their showroom, 2000 Wells Road.
Call the Coating Man.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus card fees with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
In 2021, the new motto is seize the day. So you gotta go to Arlington Toyota, because their super low lease payments are gonna put a brand new Toyota in your driveway tonight. Right now at Arlington, lease a new 2021 Camry LE for as low as $186 a month. Or lease a new 2021 Tacoma SR5 double cab V6 for just $259 a month. Seize the day and make 2021 yours in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/January for full details.
As a parent or grandparent, deep down, do you worry that your child may not be able to defend him or herself if bullied? That they may be introverted, too attached to electronic devices, and their grades are suffering? Karate America teaches 7 steps designed to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild in a safe, sanitized environment with all necessary precautions taken to prevent COVID. Please visit karateamerica.info to fill out a survey and learn if they can help your child.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anna Jar Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs. Make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall, call the law offices of Anna Jar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJags.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, the Doug Pederson era in Philadelphia, which included the Eagles' first and only Super Bowl championship, is over. The Eagles fired Pederson today. Multiple meetings with owner Jeffrey Lurie over the last week left him unconvinced that Pederson had a sound vision how to address the team's problems. The controversial quarterback change from Jalen Hurts to Nate Sudfeld in the regular season finale, likely the final nail in the coffin for Pederson, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
When it looks like you're not competing at the end of the season, when it seems that you've given up on your team, you've given up on keeping the main thing, which is winning football games, then you shouldn't be coaching football. You shouldn't be a head coach. You shouldn't be a leader of men.
Ryan Clark on the Max Kellerman Show. Alabama receiver Jalen Waddle, game time decision against Ohio State in tonight's national championship game. 7 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern ESPN TV, and other ESPN platforms. NBA tonight's Pelicans-Mavs game and tomorrow's Celtics-Bulls game postponed due to coronavirus protocols. Wizards guard Russell Westbrook expected to miss the next week because of a left quads injury.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah, they just did a good job. They had a plan, executed their plan. All the credit goes to those guys on stopping the run. Last 2 times, we had success and had a plan to make sure we didn't have that success, and that's what they did. Credit goes to those guys, and they did a great job today for them to be able to win the game.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough call. I'm good at this game. Not afraid to admit it.
I wasn't paying attention.
You often are not paying attention.
I'm not, man. I'm not. I was eating my Belvita breakfast things. Cut the check. Kuz, can you give me a little sample of that again, please?
Yeah, they just did a good job. They had a plan, executed their plan. All the credit goes to those guys.
I got it. I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
It was a losing team, right?
I'm not going to say anything. This could be basketball. Hey, Kuz, how we doing?
Sorry.
What was that?
Hey. Ears are bleeding now. Thank you, man.
What just happened?
The computer, I clicked on a link to find something.
I thought I was having a struggle. What was that? Okay. Brent, you got him?
No, I have no idea.
Hey, Coos. Mike Tomlin.
No way.
That is not correct.
Not even close, huh? Yeah, there you go. There's the Boo Birds.
No, that was Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. God.
That's your boy, Brent. How embarrassing for you.
That is embarrassing.
I mean, for me, it's whatever. Like, I've heard him talk a couple times. I mean, if you want me to talk about how to stop him on defense, so that's why I'm here. But, dude, you talk about him all the time. That's too bad.
I thought that was such a vanilla conservative game plan. Again, I mean, they have the passing game to go over the top. I like committing to the run, and you don't want to get away with it.
So you are.
But Tennessee had a chance. Everybody was up at the line, man. I mean, you had a chance to beat them over the top. In fact, A.J. Brown, the first round. I mean, did Humphrey do that good a job on A.J. Brown? Did they adjust and give help, or did they just stop going to A.J. Brown?
I have no idea, man. Because, like, you see A.J. Brown, like, that guy's going to be special, I feel like. Corey Davis, I don't know with Corey Davis. You know, he's hot or cold. But A.J. Brown, like, you got to keep giving that guy the rock. Listen, I understand it's one game for Arthur Smith, right? But by everyone saying that, I guess they talked to Arthur Smith after the game, the Jaguars, that I'm saying, in terms of an interview. I honestly hope the only reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars called Arthur Smith and conducted an interview was to say, hey, you better watch out next year because we're coming for you. Okay?
Don't you have to be super careful of that, though? I mean, if you like a guy and he's a hot name, and for some reason he's requested by 6 different teams, he's, I think, the only guy that got 6 different interviews or requests.
Yeah, good for him.
Then you can't let one game
Brent,
sway your opinion. I mean, it's the Justin Fields effect, man.
First of
you
all,
did that on Justin Fields against Indiana. Did it again on Northwestern. And
so
now all of a sudden, now we're debating whether he's the number 1 pick against Trevor Lawrence.
Who's we? That's you, man. You know where I stand. I'm on Team Trevor all day. That's on you, the whole Fields thing. I'll take Trey Lance over Justin Fields. Put it in the book right now. But all I'm saying, Brent, and listen, I'm not just judging by one game. I've said before, I'm not the biggest Arthur Smith type of guy, but I'm just saying, I hope the only reason why Shad Khan Zoom called him, because he did not earn an interview on the Casmet or whatever, on the Casmet. He did not enter Kismet, sorry. He did not earn that. So you're getting a Zoom call, and I hope Shad Khan went, hey, saw that game. We're coming for you. Click, and that's it. That's how I hope it went down.
Yeah, once this Bitcoin comes in big and I buy the Kismet from Shad Khan, I'll take you on it.
What about when Ian Rappaport was speculating to Urban Meyer met on Shad Khan's boat? He called it a boat.
He called it a boat.
Hey,
it's a $200 million boat.
Have a little class. I'm not sure what your paychecks are looking like, but you should know what the difference between a boat and a yacht is.
Listen, my neighbor has a boat.
Yes.
Shad Khan has a yacht.
Yes, sir. Show him a little respect. See, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody respects the Jacksonville Jaguars. If it was Jerry Jones, it would have been the yacht.
Hey, I got to go do TV hit on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
What a segue we got coming up. What do you want me to talk about?
I want you to talk about this. Why are we excited about Urban Meyer? Because I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. I looked up his record today. His winning percentage is 3rd all-time behind Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy from Notre Dame. That was back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, man.
Are those politicians or coaches?
It's 3rd all-time.
Okay.
In the history of the game. His bowl record is 12-3. 2nd all-time. That's why people are excited about Urban Meyer. Couple him with the best winner ever in college football in Trevor Lawrence from the quarterback position. You got 2 of the biggest winners ever in college. Take it away.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm going to one-up you here, Brent. Yes, I agree with all those stats, and those are great stats. I'll be honest with you. I love the game of football. Never heard of any of those coaches. I guess I got to do some more homework, and I got to relive my past a little bit and relive my history. But with that being said, I think why people are so enamored with the possibility of Urban Meyer coming to Jacksonville is because, well, I guess for the second time now, it seems like in the past year, Jacksonville Jaguars fans can go, we're number 1. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, with Trevor Lawrence coming to town, or we can assume, I hope so, but obviously Trevor Lawrence coming into town right now, like, that's the Jaguars getting, hey, guess what? We're getting the top pick in the draft. Like, This is a positive. Through all the crap that we had to crawl through, it's almost like Shawshank Redemption at the end. When Andy Dufresne's got to crawl through that sewer, and it's like, is he going to get it? Is he going to make it? And then all of a sudden, the rain at the end, when he's walking out of that sewer, and the rain hits him in the face, and he's a free man, and he's got his arms out, and that's like the whole movie cover of the VHS tape. That's the moment, right? And this is the moment right now. Like, Trevor Lawrence is the rain to wash away all the crap. But Urban Meyer is like a sandwich after that rain. Like, you're hungry. You just crawled through a bunch of crap. Go get yourself a good sandwich. Go to Publix, get a pub sub. Hey, Publix, cut the check. But with that being said, Urban Meyer gives you the intrigue because nobody else can get him. Or at least we've been led to believe. Like, this is another time in Jaguars history where it's like, maybe you do have the most attractive job. Maybe you are a step ahead of everybody else. Right? Because you don't hear Urban Meyer interviewing anybody else. Yes, you hear the Chargers rumblings and the rumors, but that's all they are right now until I see some kind of concrete evidence. Until I see Ian Rappaport or Dilla tweeting it, I'm not going to buy into it. So Urban Meyer right now is on the Jacksonville radar, and he's the only guy that's really on the radar, let's just say. So if the Jaguars get him, that goes to show you that this job was coveted. And that's another thing that Jaguars fans can point at and say, you know what? Look what we got now. We got the guy that nobody else could get. We got Urban Meyer. Now, that comes with some kind of caveats, right? And I've said those caveats before. Just because you're getting Urban Meyer doesn't mean he's going to be a miracle worker, right? There is some baggage that comes with Urban Meyer, right? There are some other things. He's never coached in the NFL before. So I'm not saying it's a foolproof plan. Just like a lot of these coaches, it's probably not a foolproof plan. But I'm just saying, if you are able to get Urban Meyer, that's another way, if you're a Jaguars fan, to go, look what we got that nobody else could get. And that's why I feel like more than anything, and even though he is the ultimate boomer bust type of coach, I feel like, but that's why people are enamored with him, because they like to point their finger and go, look what we got. Brenton, you back here? I see you in the video screen. I'm not sure if he's actually back, though, or not. No, he's not back? Okay, the Twitter feed just totally psyched me out for no reason. Okay, so with that being said, I moved it over. There you go. How about that? Yeah, you did. No, and it's all good. So with that being said, we'll see on the Urban Meyer front. You know how I feel about it. I feel like if you're that hell-bent on winning and making a name for yourself, then you need to get your ducks in a row as soon as possible. Get in that stadium, start watching that college film, and start getting to work. I think that if we don't hear something either tonight or tomorrow morning, then there's going to be a little red flag. Like, I still think Urban Meyer is going to be the next coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And maybe he wants to be respectful to Ohio State, whatever the reason may be. But if we don't hear something tonight or tomorrow morning, I'm going to start having some skeptical eyes going on. I'm going to be like, okay, what was that plan B again? And we talked about it before a little bit to open the show. I mean, the plan B, I don't know. If people are saying Bieniemy is a bad interviewee or whatever, so be it. I'll be honest with you. I suck at taking the ACT, but I think I'm smarter than an 18 on the ACT. I think I'm smarter than that. Like, some people are just maybe bad at taking interviews. But we had Maurice Jones-Drew on this show, right? You hear what other players say about him, past players and current players. Like, they swear by Eric Bieniemy. Now, I'm not sure what type of questions are being asked in these interviews, and I'm not sure just how strenuous they truly are. And I'm not sure if he just rubbed people in Jacksonville the wrong way, if this is kind of an ongoing thing. It would maybe make a little sense, because why hasn't he had a job yet? Like, if Eric Bieniemy goes back to be the coordinator next season at the Kansas City Chiefs, well, then yes, there's something else. Like, there's something up with Eric Bieniemy. But with that being said, I'm not going to fault the guy for maybe a bad interview if he can coach football. Just like I'm not going to fault the player wholeheartedly if he's kind of bad on the board at the combine. I'm going to go on the tape and say, well, this kid's special on the film. All right, now we'll teach him the football stuff, but he's special on the film. When I watch the Kansas City Chiefs offense, it's special. Now, whether Bieniemy's got all his input on that, 25%, 50%, he's around that. So I'm not sure just exactly how bad these interviews are going, but I'm just saying, look at also the resume in terms of his coaching and what his players say about him, and then address it from there.
Yeah, and Austin, I think that's an interesting point. And I said this over the weekend. How hard is it for these guys in the middle of a playoff run, in the middle of their seasons, when they're worried about their team? And they're not necessarily being selfish and worried about their next step because they're all in on trying to win a Super Bowl when you have a team like Kansas City. And I understand they had a bye week, but still, how difficult is that to prep and interview well? I mean, Arthur Smith, the disappointment of yesterday's game, their offense failed. And last night he had an interview with the Jaguars. Like, I have a hard time, like, computing that, you know? Like, I'm not necessarily this guy that thinks you need 12, 15 hours of sleep to interview nice the next day. But I think you got to be in the right frame of mind. Like, how could you even be thinking about the Jags interview before yesterday at 5:30? Like, I don't even know how you could even prep for it.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's not like there are 24 hours in a day. These guys aren't consumed as much as they want to, like, make you believe they are. So I'm not saying there hasn't been work done by Arthur Smith and all these other candidates in the past to be ready, have their portfolios ready, their binder ready, their plan ready. They've got that. But what I'm saying is, how are you supposed to be sharp this time of year for these guys? I get it. It's part of it. But I can easily see why guys would interview poorly is what I'm getting at here.
Well, and that's exactly right, Brent, right? Like, we talked about why am I spacing on his name now? The guy in Dallas, the head coach. Hello, Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
Like, we talk about Mike McCarthy. I'm sure he interviewed well. Do you know why? Because he's had how long to think about it. He's had how long to go after it because he wasn't coaching. Like, you know, the whole thing came out about the analytics and all that stuff. Like, Mike McCarthy was tailor-made, I'm sure, to dominate the interviewing process. When you have guys like Bieniemy or you know, Dable or whoever, like, listen, it's playoff football. There's a lot that goes into it. Like, yes, the physicality part is taken back a little bit, but in terms of game planning, in terms of making sure that everything's in line to be successful, I can't imagine. And then I can't imagine calling a pretty subpar game or maybe below average game if I'm Arthur Smith. And then, oh, by the way, a couple hours later, you can't even decompress. Here's Shad Khan. Let's talk Jaguars. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. And now, like you said, Mike McCarthy's been out of the game for a bit. Urban Meyer's the same boat, right?
True.
Or it's the same kismet, same yacht, same whatever. But, I mean, he's been out of it. Like, he's got to worry about talking about the national championship game. All right, he can do that in his sleep.
Yeah.
But and believe me, this is such a different interview process, I would say, with Urban Meyer. Don't you think it's more Urban Meyer interviewing Shad? You know, like, hey, what are you going to give me? We need this. Can we do this? We talked on Friday about facilities. Hey, man, these facilities, we got to get them better. Can we do that?
Yeah.
When's the timeline for that? You know, and all those things go into Urban Meyer, much as like Shad Khan's questioning Urban Meyer about health and commitment and are you all in and all this stuff. I think Urban Meyer is probably asking those same questions on the other side. Like, all right, does our time frames match, right? That can we get all the stuff we need from A to Z in order to win big in the next couple of years? And because you know if Urban Meyer comes in, you got a window to win. I still believe this guy's probably going to stick around longer than others believe.
Yeah.
But I still think there's a window. I mean, Urban Meyer's not here to lose 12 games in his first year. He's not here to go 8-8 in his second year and maybe make the playoffs in his third year. It's not that kind of build. You got the number one pick. You have a franchise-changing quarterback. You have a ton of money. You got a guy who just wins. But I'm talking like he's already the coach. I'm just saying, if in this scenario, it's totally different than if you hired Arthur Smith, Bieniemy, Saleh. Like, these are more builds, and I know everybody around here hates that word, but it's a little bit more of a longer-term look, I think, if you're getting any of those guys. It's hey, let's go after this thing if you're getting Urban Meyer, and I think that's why people get excited about Meyer.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, with Urban Meyer, more than any other interviewee right now, like, yes, one could think that Urban Meyer was the guy that was actually running that interview, right? Like, he was like, Mr. Khan, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And knowing the situation right now, I would say that Shad Khan was more than happy to be like, okay, we'll see what we can do, but we can definitely, you know, cater to what you need, and hopefully you can become the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, so be it. In retrospect, maybe that's the best way to go about things right now, and maybe that's the best thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because we've had Shad Khan say he's going to be more hands-on, and that's great. Any owner should be more hands-on, right? But if you go in a direction like an Arthur Smith or a Bieniemy, like, it's still going to be the Shad Khan show featuring Bieniemy or Arthur Smith, I think. I think if you go after Urban Meyer, it's going to be the Urban Meyer show. And I'm not going to say that Shad Khan's taking a step back, 'cause I don't see that either. But I just think that he's going to give the keys to Urban Meyer and say, all right, man, I have full faith in you. Let's see what you got. And maybe that's what this franchise needs right now more than anything.
Yeah, and I think it kind of does, and that could equate to a flush. But I do think the owner still has to be ear to the ground, because I think he did that with Coughlin. His ear wasn't to the ground maybe as much, and all of a sudden you look up and Yannick Ngakoue is given a take it or leave it deal, and you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean take it or leave it? That guy's 24, he's second all time in franchise sacks. Don't just tell him to walk away.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, so I think you got to be a little careful of that. I just tweeted something, and I looked this up earlier today because we're doing a little work just in case on Urban Meyer, and I know we're getting carried away. Forgive us for getting carried away with the Urban Meyer stuff, but here's my feeling on Urban Meyer. I think it's fun right now for everybody in town. I think it's a great topic and a what if and all this stuff. I like it, okay? I like the concept of it. I like the idea of it. I think he is the front runner for the position. I'm not convinced he's going to get back into coaching, if I'm being honest. And so I really believe this might be the last day we're talking about Urban Meyer. Because
so we're trying to get it in?
Yeah, well, kind of. But as I continue to do more work just in case, and I told you earlier in the show, if you're just catching up with us here in the 5 o'clock hour, I said if you had asked me Thursday or Friday, I said I don't think he's taking the job. I think he's going to pull out of this thing. I just think the family stuff, the health stuff, you heard Dave Holmes on from Columbus, that is real. Like, people want to say how he left Florida and Ohio State, but it's real. It's not a joke. Like, his health is a real thing. And so I believed Thursday, Friday, I'm like, listen, he did this dance with Texas a little bit. I know he wants in. There's probably a little bit of his ego that wants back on the sideline. He thinks he can do it, but that family is a strong tie here to say, hey, man, this isn't smart. Yeah. And so I'm thinking that way all the way up until about Friday morning. Well, once he's meeting with Shad Khan on Friday, he has yet to, after that, on Saturday, Sunday, now Monday, to say, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. He has yet to do that, or at least reportedly, right? I mean, and I think that would be out by now if he had done that. I believe more and more now that he's going to be the guy. Like, I really do. Like, now, I told you earlier in the show, asked me Thursday, Friday, I said, I don't think it's going to happen. Put $1,000 on it right now, I'd say, yeah, I think it's going to happen. So that's how my mind has changed up with the timeline and the days go by. But I just tweeted out, and this is in my a little bit of research more this morning on Urban. You just can't get over what I told you before I just went on TV, and that was third all-time, Austin, in winning percentage. I mean, he's got 187 wins and 32 losses in college football. That's third all-time. Again, you have to go back to Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy, and those guys were before 1950 for Notre Dame, and their sample wasn't even that big to get a better win percentage. This guy's 12-3 in bowl games. That's a second all-time percentage in bowl games. He is like 27-2 or 3 or something against his rivals, and I don't know if that adds up in the NFL as much, but I like him beating the rest of the AFC South the way he beat Georgia when he was at Florida and Michigan when he's at Ohio State.
Yep.
And so you add all that up and you say, my gosh, you could get potentially, let's just for at least another few hours, another day, envision the fact that you could get one of the greatest winners of all time in college coaching and marry that with the greatest winner of all time at the quarterback position in college football. And you have those two guys come to an organization where wins have been foreign. And I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances. I mean, and I'm trying to get to the root of why people might be excited about this. And isn't that it? I mean, you got a guy that has proven to win national championships at the highest college level, and a guy that's proven to win in the biggest games, and as a freshman, a national championship at the toughest position to play in sports, and a position this organization so badly needs, and now is in line to get a guy that might be a generational player.
Yeah.
And you get to marry that together. And that's where I think you can't really overstate, and that's reason for excitement in Jacksonville. And it's real. And I feel it on social media. We feel it and see it on the show, and we talk about it. That is a big thing. But I think that's the root of it. You know, it's like, hey, 11 out of 12 years of losing, and losing like a lot, it's been bad. It's been tough. People have hung in there, but it's been bad. 2017 gave us such a taste around here of what it could be. And so with those guys, even though they haven't proven it in the NFL, I'm going to take my chances with guys that hardly ever have lost in their life. being in Jacksonville.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brent, I'm excited to go to AEW and represent the Action Sports Jax brand, because when Tony Khan brings out Urban Meyer on Dynamite to announce that he's a new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to be there, camera, microphone, ready to go.
I haven't got to this yet because I just had to talk more about Urban Meyer. Why not, right? Are we missing anybody? Are we missing – is there a sleeper? Like, it doesn't always happen that we hear every report. And I believe, and you probably believe, and I think we all kind of subtly believe, that Shad Khan knew that there could be a change coming in his coaching situation, quite frankly, for the last 15 months.
Yeah.
Did he look at somebody else? Has he vetted others? Has there been conversations with others? Are we missing anybody just because we've only heard Bieniemy, Meyer, Morris, Saleh, and Smith? Let's talk about it and see what maybe could be out there that we haven't heard about next on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy tonight with an isolated sprinkle or shower dropping into the low 50s, and your Tuesday will be partly to mostly cloudy. A shower or two mainly in the morning and highs in the mid-60s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, things may have gotten tougher lately. You're probably looking for savings wherever you can find them. So you may be surprised to hear that most small businesses overpay for workers' compensation insurance. Many insurance companies just aren't set up to give small businesses the savings they deserve. But Pi Insurance was created to change that. We serve small businesses exclusively, and we can save you up to 30%. You owe it to yourself to find out if you're overpaying. Just get a quote right now from your computer or smartphone at trypi.com. Pi Insurance is a no-brainer with our simple online experience and outstanding service. We are rated excellent on Trustpilot by our customers, who tell us Pi is fast, affordable, and easy to work with. As easy as pie, in fact. Savings matter now more than ever. Isn't it worth taking 3 minutes to find out if you're overpaying for workers' comp? Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Nearly 250,000 men and women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Some fuel system cleaner could help. It cleans your entire fuel system to help improve your fuel economy. Right now, you can get Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner for just $4.99. Plus a $1 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Save thousands and pay up to 50% less MSRP during the New Year's clearance event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Pay up to 50% less and buy a pre-owned 2020 Corolla LE from just $11,881. Save on Camry and pay up to 50% less on a pre-owned 2020 Camry SE from just $17,291. How about a pre-owned 2020 RAV4 XLE from just $19,991? Pay up to 50% less at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/New Year clearance for details.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Now that medical marijuana is being used in Florida, you need information. Just log on to the Mary YouTube videocast to learn about medical marijuana use in Florida. We talk to doctors, nurses, pastors, pharmacists, legislators, and law enforcement officials to bring you the most up-to-date information about medical marijuana use in Florida. Subscribe and never miss an update.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
You'll never paint your house again. Call the Coating Man.
The only company who offers the world's best paint and the most advanced protective coatings on the market, guaranteed never to fade, chip, crack, or peel for as long as you own your home. Call for a free estimate by the end of the month and receive up to 40% off. Call 888-COAT-USA. That's 888-COAT-USA. Or visit their showroom, 2000 Wells Road.
Call the Coating Man.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
But, man, when you hit, what is that button you used to hit, like the X button to accelerate?
Austin Lane.
I haven't played Madden in like 10 years. Sorry to let you down there.
That was a major letdown.
Yeah. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
For fans to be allowed to experience that with this team, it would have been a shame if we couldn't do that. And I know it was only 6,700, but it's more than zero. So I'm super excited for the fan base here, and I don't think guys really understand the meaning and the impact of winning a playoff game for this franchise. But at the same time, I think we're not in tune to that because we want to win more. One's not good enough for us. We got to go find out a good way to put our best foot forward this week and try to go execute next week, whomever we may play.
That is Josh Allen.
Yep.
The Buffalo Bills are a nice story. I love the Cleveland Browns story. Tampa Bay Bucks all ending big droughts. I think it's 18 years for the Bucks. The Bucks feel like a little bit different of a story because they went out and got Tom Brady. It's like, well, you better win a playoff game. I mean, the way that thing's built.
Well, and you're also playing Washington, so.
Yeah, and that was a fun game, a gutsy effort by Washington.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know what Washington had the feel of for me? And this does not happen in the NFL very often. But it felt like Florida losing by 1 score to Alabama in the SEC championship game.
Really? Okay.
Well, it was just to the point that, listen, Alabama was up 35-17. Alabama's been Alabama. Is Florida really there yet? And even Gator fan, they don't want to admit it, but they took a moral victory out of that game, like no doubt, like you could tell. And I get the sense like Washington was playing with house money, and they're playing with Taylor Heineke, man. And they're playing against Tom Brady and a Bucs team that was pretty hot coming in. And so I kind of feel like I don't know how much disappointment. I'm not saying it's a moral victory, but how much disappointment can Washington really have? They were 7-9. They won the NFC East at 7-9, and they put a heck of an effort together. They gave themselves a chance. So I think it was a great building block for Ron Rivera and Washington. And overall, even at 7-9, this is one heck of a year for the Washington football team.
Well, that and obviously Taylor Heineke too, kind of making a name for himself a little bit. I mean,
that was great.
Hey, Heineken beer, let's go.
Hey, by the way, Taylor Heineke is another example. John Wolford coming in.
Yeah.
Did we see anybody else? Did I miss? Who else? Did anybody else come in off the bench this week? Maybe it was just Heineke and obviously what Wolford has done and now back to Goff. But those guys are great examples of what I've said over the last month, and this was before the Trevor Lawrence talk, where I think the quarterbacks are so much better in mass than ever before. Like, there's not as many bad quarterbacks. Like, you used to be, I told Ty this, I said, 15 years ago, if you're a backup QB and you come in that situation, you basically can't even run the playbook.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, well, we got to be really conservative. You got to do hand off. We got to do this. We got to play in a box, all this stuff. Not anymore. I mean, these guys come in and, heck, you can make the case Johnny Wolford, they were talking in L.A. that's why he got the next start, I think, is because their offense actually evolved under Wolford. It looked better than it looked under Goff.
Yeah.
Heineke, I'm not saying he was better than Alex Smith, but I'm just saying he did an admirable job. He could run their stuff. He gave them a chance. And it shows to me, and it's part of the reason I think this quarterback class is going to be really good and have a lot of success in the NFL. I just think it's harder to be a bust at the QB level, and I think the depth at the QB spot is better than it's ever been at all levels of play, but especially in the NFL.
Well, it's harder to be a bust, too, especially now with the modern NFL offense where anytime you can take off and run, so be it, right? I mean, that's what kind of Taylor Heineke got his confidence from a little bit, and the same thing with John Wolford as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you have the team around them, right, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, an injury happens and you substitute that guy in, you still have a great shot of winning. And let's be honest, both those situations, I think with Wolford even more, though, obviously you play in a Sean McVay's system that has some pretty good offensive weapons. You have Cam Akers being able to tote the rock a little bit. And with Heineke's perspective, like, you have a decent defense who kind of bent a little bit too much this past weekend, but you have a defense to have your back and also some pretty good weapons at your disposal. So if you take care of your quarterback and that backup comes in, you don't really miss that much.
Yeah, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane here, about a half hour to go on a Monday. We continue to watch the Urban Meyer front, the head coaching front of the Jags. Talk a little national championship in a moment, too, before we end up here tonight as we'll have the national championship game right here on ESPN 690 at 7 o'clock, Alabama and Ohio State. All right, I had this question most of the show, and let's get to it. We've seen 5 names that have talked to the Jags. I believe, like, the coaching search for us that cover it is like an investigation. You got to turn up every rock, right?
Sure.
And you're going to be like, all right, who else is out there? What could they be? Before they fired Doug Marrone, we mentioned a ton of names. Now, since the reports are out, there's like 5 names. I don't fully believe that there's just 5 names the Jags have talked to. And by the way, I'm totally full disclosure here. I've not heard anything different. I don't believe it. Like, I believe they maybe have interviewed another guy we don't know about. They may have interviewed somebody today that hadn't been reported. It may have been hush-hush, whatever it might be. I don't know if you believe that, Austin. And, like, I'll give you an example. I still think they talked or should talk or have talked or will talk to, like, Marvin Lewis. I think the guy did it in Cincinnati. I think he kind of knows what it takes. His coaching tree is one that's favorable. I think it's people that Shad Khan has leaned on before. I believe I'm 99% sure he's talked to Bill Cowher in the past about what they should do from an advisory role, and he comes from the Bill Cowher tree. So whether it's been a formal interview or an informal conversation, I believe, like, Marvin Lewis is somebody they've at least had a discussion with his representatives or him at some point in this process. So that's what I'm getting at. Do you think there's somebody out there that we're missing, we're not hearing about, nobody's been reported, they've been able to keep it quiet? And if so, would there be a name out there? I'll give you another example. The GM stuff has totally died down.
Yeah.
But remember we did this months ago, and I said, at the very least, Shad Khan should have lunch with Theo Epstein. I'm not saying they should hire him,
Brent,
but he should have lunch with Theo Epstein.
Careful now.
So would there totally outside the box, just to check a box, could he have had lunch with Theo Epstein and we wouldn't know about it? I think there's certainly a chance at that. Again, I want to make sure if you're just jumping in, I'd have no information on this. I'm not saying that's what I've learned. This is just throwing out there, who are we missing? Because I just firmly don't believe that it's just Robert Saleh, Urban Meyer, Raheem Morris, Eric Bieniemy, and Arthur Smith. I don't believe that. I think there's more that they vetted.
Listen, all I'm going to say is if Shad Khan's having lunch with Theo Epstein, then we're due for a call. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. All right? We should be getting calls before Theo Epstein gets calls. It's just how I feel about it.
Really?
Yes.
Come on. I don't agree with you. I think he should. I told you months ago, I think he should have lunch with Theo Epstein. Epstein's a guy who turned around the Red Sox and the Cubs. People will say, well, yeah, he was already there.
It's baseball, though.
You know? I understand it.
It's baseball,
It's the
right?
inner work. Why wouldn't you, if you're an owner, though, why wouldn't you study other places of work, other sports organizations that have been able to reach the pinnacle? I think you should do that.
No, because it's baseball. It's different. I mean, it's different.
Sure, there are differences, but I bet there are similarities.
Sure, Brent, and then we can go talk to some premier soccer leagues and get their head guy over here and talk to him as well, because Shad Khan's got those connections.
Well, listen, analytics has crept into the NFL in a big-time way.
And how is that being received right now in the world of the NFL?
Well, Twitter doesn't like it, but you know what? The Houston Astros won big because of it. You don't think people talk to the Houston Astros about it? I think they did.
How is the world of analytics right now being received, just not on Twitter, but in the world of football in general? Like, how are the Colts feeling right now about analytics?
Probably just as bad as Mike
Twitter.
Tomlin, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Did you see that stat? It was something like in the game situation they were in the previous 76 times, the team has gone for it 75 times.
Yeah.
The only time they didn't go for it was Vrabel the other day.
Yeah.
So maybe he should have used analytics is the point.
I got you.
All right, so anybody,
Answer,
you got to
yeah,
just
I
give
gotta
me a
answer your
sleeper. Give me a sleeper.
It's a good question. Listen.
That's what I do.
It's sometimes. You know, I think if we're talking about this question, we have to talk about outside the box. I don't necessarily think Marvin Lewis is really outside the box. Now, he's intriguing, you know, because he's got the resume. If I'm going outside the box with this answer, I'm going with a guy who's been known in circles for the past year about eventually being a very highly coveted head coaching candidate, but not quite yet. And you wonder if the Jacksonville Jaguars are taking it upon themselves to go, you know what? We got Trevor Lawrence coming in. We need someone to work with him. This is a very young team. Let's get some young energy in terms of the coaching as well. Joe Brady.
Okay. I can go. That's good.
Because I feel like he's been out for a while now, because obviously the Panthers didn't go to the playoffs. So if you're going to interview somebody like that, he's readily available. So that's my sleeper, I guess.
Okay, that's good. That's exactly what I was looking for. And by the way, we have no idea. We're just kind of throwing out a name.
Yeah,
and Joe Brady has interviewed with other people. I think the Jets maybe, and it might even been Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly where. But I find it interesting the different guys people have interviewed. Like Aaron Glenn, you brought his name up before. I think he interviewed with the Jets. There's a little bit of a tie there that makes some sense. But I find, like, when everybody's interviewing Arthur Smith, okay, that's easy. Everybody's interviewing Robert Saleh. I get it. Bieniemy. But where are other people reaching? Like the Jags are going after Urban Meyer. Nobody else seems to be going after Urban Meyer. So I kind of like that outside-the-box process. It doesn't mean you have to hire that guy, but I do like the idea of looking outside the box at the very least. All right, when we come back, national championship, give me one thing. And I do want you to answer my question from earlier in the show. Who has the most dominant unit in the NFL playoffs, offensively, defensively? Is it the Rams on defense, the Chiefs on offense, the Bills on offense? Anybody we're missing? We'll go there when we come back here on a Monday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The first weekend of the NFL playoffs went pretty much the way they were supposed to. That is until the late game last night when the Browns jumped all over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first 20 seconds of play by returning a bad snap for a touchdown. At the end of the night, Cleveland moved on to KC, and Big Ben had tossed 4 picks. It's a topsy-turvy world indeed. Here's winning quarterback Baker Mayfield on what the win means to the Browns.
It means a lot for our guys to step up. You know, we lost
if you guys obviously missing Joel, it sucks. But Michael Dunn stepped up in a huge way, And then Jack goes down. Kendall Lamb steps up in a huge way. And then Michael ends up going down. And Blake, who I just met tonight, ends up stepping up in a huge way.
SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed.
I got lambasted on social media for a small, mild bit of criticism of Gardner Minshew.
Careful now, because you've been in that guy's house, so be careful.
I get crushed when I say too many positive things, moral victories, and I criticize the QB a little bit because that's what I saw.
Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
Happy New Year from the team at CGC Water. This new year, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember this limited time offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Special holiday financing still available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. Have a happy, safe, and prosperous new year. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope. And you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
All across the nation, we are here for our communities.
We're doing our part to get supplies where it's needed in order to fight COVID-19 together.
It feels good to be out there to assist our community.
I would like our friends and family to know that your National Guardsmen are always ready and always there.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
In 2021, the new motto is seize the day. So you gotta go to Arlington Toyota because their super low lease payments are gonna put a brand new Toyota in your driveway tonight. Right now at Arlington, lease a new 2021 RAV4 LE for just $224 a month, or lease a new 2021 Corolla LE for an amazingly low $127 a month. Seize the day and make 2021 yours in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/January for full details.
AD needed championships, chips plural, to start entering the greatest power forward ever conversation. How many does he need to win with the Lakers before he starts entering that conversation?
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Hard to compare teams. You always want your team to have great togetherness and be positive in their work and what they try to do to accomplish the goals that they have. And people have to be responsible for their own self-determination so they can go out there and do their job at a high level. And I think those things probably are similar with all these teams. But the personality of this team has been really good all year in terms of their buy-in and how they've tried to establish those qualities that make them a good team. I'm very proud of what this group has been able to accomplish and what they've done to this point to create this opportunity for themselves.
I know who that is. That's Nick Saban.
Got any more brain busters, Coos?
Playing the national championship tonight.
Yes, sir.
Against Ohio State. Alabama, a 9-point favorite. The line's moved. And it's in South Florida. You can hear the game on ESPN 690, by the way. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock, so make sure you tune into that if you're not in front of a television.
Not that I was looking, but the over-under is at 75.
75. Wow.
Oh, man.
Now, keep in mind, I think Alabama averages 48.9 a game, and they've won by an average of like 29 points a game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ohio State can score.
Yeah.
What would you do there, over or under, 75?
I go under all day.
Would you?
Yeah, I think when you typically have these type of games, especially a championship where it's going to be supposedly high scoring, both defenses come out and slow the ball down a little bit. So I would take the under for sure.
Yeah, I kind of lean that way.
Coos, you listening to that? Coos?
I was going to take Ohio State +9 and the over.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know if I would tell anybody to take the under. I'm just saying if I was doing it, I'd stay away from it probably because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous one. Yeah. Do you like Alabama? I mean, is it easy? I mean, Ohio State has the horses. Field's going to have to play an excellent game. They have to be super motivated because they're a big underdog. It just feels like Alabama's Alabama, and it feels like a perfect season for Bama.
It does, just because Alabama can beat you anyway. I mean, if you want to make a barn burner and go toe-to-toe with them, they have obviously the weapons to do that. I think, is Waddle going to play, Brent? Do we know that yet or not?
I haven't heard that yet. I know they say game-time decision, but I haven't heard late reports on Waddle.
And then listen, if you want to slow the game down, we got Najee Harris, who's one of the best backs in the league. I just think that whatever Ohio State tries to do against Alabama can do that better. But, listen, I thought that Clemson was going to curb stomp Ohio State too, and we're talking about Ohio State, Alabama, the championship game. So anything can happen. Justin Fields can make a lot of money tonight, I feel like, even though he's already made a bunch in terms of draft capital. But I just think Alabama's way too much.
You know what's really interesting is, I understand what you're saying about Fields. I don't really think he can help his stock much tonight.
Do you think he's going number 2 regardless?
Well, I think he has a chance to hurt his stock because this is the way we work, all right? This is the way we are, and it's unfair to the kid. But he's not going higher than number 2.
Well,
and
obviously,
right now, I think he's the number 2 pick. I think he proved that the other day. I think he got the momentum back, right, to be the number 2 pick. Because remember, he was the number 2 pick going into the season. Up until the Indiana game, he was definitely the number 2 pick. Even before the Northwestern game, I still thought he was the number 2 pick. Well, coming out of the Northwestern game, I'm like, okay, now let's keep an eye on Zach Wilson. Let's go do a little work here. And that's just not me. I think that was kind of the wave, the narrative. And then he got it all back, and now he's the number 2 pick again. It's like, look at that performance. Everybody's going to point to that performance. But if he can have another one of those performances, and he's still not coming to Jacksonville, is my point. If he has a 3-interception game, if he has a Northwestern kind of game, I think then you could say, hey, now 3 of his last 4 games have been just okay. Like, you got to really do a deep dive on this. Zach Wilson. Those conversations, especially with the Jets who have Sam Darnold, I think that would come into play more. I don't really think he can do. Well, I shouldn't say he's definitely the second pick because who knows what the Jets will do. But he's the second quarterback off the board, in my opinion, no doubt right now. Yeah. I think if he has a bad game, Austin, I think he could hurt his stock a little bit, though.
Well, see, and the reason why I'm saying he can make some money tonight is, does New York take him at number 2 then? Like, are they happy with Sam Darnold, give him another year, maybe get that offensive lineman from Oregon, or do they take Fields? I just feel like if Fields comes out, beats Alabama, has the game of his life tonight, which is going to say something compared to the Clemson game last week, but if he comes out and dominates, it's almost like if you're New York, like it's too good to pass up. Like you can't afford not to draft the guy. That's what I'm saying, where you can make some money.
Now you're right. You could be compelled to take him, right?
Yeah.
If I just believe a new coach going into this situation, I believe he's going to want his own quarterback.
Yeah.
And if he's got the number 2 pick and a guy that might be a franchise quarterback, might be better than Sam Darnold, even if you can groom Sam Darnold, I'm probably going to go take Justin Fields and start over.
Yeah.
And it buys me a little bit of a honeymoon period, too, if you do it that way. So, all right, earlier in the show I asked the most dominant unit in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Is it the Rams? Is it the Chiefs? Is it the Bills? Am I missing somebody?
Listen, I'm still going the Kansas City Chiefs offense just because if you take Aaron Donald away from that defensive line, they're not the same. But if you take Tyreek Hill, you still got Travis Kelce, you still got Sammy Watkins, you still got Mecole Hardman. Like they're so deep with offensive talent that I think that they trump all. So I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Yeah, I'm not going defense here either. I probably am. I'm stretching it to bring the Bills into play.
Sure.
But I'm telling you, man, the Bills I thought struggled a bit, still scored 27 and made some huge plays, and I love their play calling. The difference between the Bills, in my opinion, and say like the Titans and even the Colts, first down and goal from the 9-yard line, the Bills go play action. Everybody else goes run for 2 yards.
Yeah.
And they go play action. Like, I love it. I just think they're aggressive in those situations. And, I mean, Mahomes, if you go back and look at the last few games, you could wonder if he's going to even be rusty in this next playoff game. So I think that's fair. Give me one thing from the weekend. You got anything?
Yeah, man, I got one thing. Finish Queen's Gambit. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Hey, Netflix. No need to make a season 2. I get you want to get your grubby paws, your greedy paws over that and make a season 2. You don't need to. It ended perfectly. It was a great show. Just leave it alone and let it marinate.
I blame that show for the Rubik's Cube show that's apparently coming.
Oh,
that's
I bet
gross.
it is.
I'm not watching
I wonder
that.
if Stuart Weber's going to be in that. Give me one thing is I was going to go River City Rumble. It was a great couple of games and a split. JU got one, UNF got one. But I'm going to go Saturday, I think, was like the laziest day of my life. Like, actually, in my life. Like, I did not, and like when you're healthy and lazy, like I've had lazy days when I'm sick, but I was healthy. And I just watched football all day and did like absolutely nothing.
Good for you, man.
Had a couple pops and ate. That's it.
Did the family watch with you, or was it more of a solo
Just
affair?
Ty and I. That's it.
Good.
Ladies were away.
Cool.
All right. National Championship game on ESPN 690 tonight at 7. I'll see you on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Have a good night.
You probably played this as a kid, especially if you had siblings. Put a kink in the garden hose when your brother's trying to use it, then once the nozzles turn towards him, let it go. It's more fun when you're the older brother. The thing is, even a slight kink will reduce water flow to a